Okay, so this is primarily a film-based podcast. So I'm going to start by asking you, like, what your favorite movie of all time is.
I'm guessing you probably don't want me to say Forrest Gump.
You can't, whatever your actual choice is, then yeah, just go with it. And
damn.
and why? You know, like what?
Well,
what
it's
makes
been a while since I've seen it.
So Forrest Gump is your choice?
No, it's not that because I've seen that recently.
Okay.
Either both of them would be. It's been a while since I've seen it. It would be either the movie 1917.
Okay.
Because it's a good
The World War One movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's good. Or it would be Jurassic Park, but that's just for me when I was younger.
The original.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I guess that would lead into more.
I've never even seen it. It's like one of those big movies that everyone should see, and I haven't seen that one yet. I don't know if it's even, is it worth it? Or is it just like one of those things that people just talk about a lot?
I think for the time, the graphics were pretty good. And
like the CGI and everything?
Yeah, and it's one of those movies where, honestly, I think it should have been a one and done.
Okay, yeah. Not franchised, yeah.
Like,
you don't think there's like
the
another
Lost
story
World
to tell?
Was interesting, but like when they're on the island, but all the other shit behind it, like.
Well, you don't need to know like extra lore, like what fucking.
No, it's just weird. It's like suddenly they're in San Diego in the very end, the Sheiks chasing them, but then at the same time it's like,
fuck,
a little bit confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, we are playing the original Battlefront, by the way, which he doesn't like for some reason. I don't know why.
Who?
It's fun. You said it's boring. Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the original Xbox. Well, we were playing it on an Xbox 360 though, because I don't have I didn't bring my original with me to college.
Well, I don't know. It's just I'm used to, I guess, modern graphics. You know.
What, graphics are everything?
Well, no. It's also I don't know. It could be just how like the UI is set up for 2-player. Like, I'm on the top screen.
Split screen. Well, this is a big TV though. We're playing in the lounge. It's a big TV.
I know.
Study lounge.
Well, the TV size doesn't matter when you're looking at how the game's UI is set up. So like, I really only see like from my top half, and it really limits like how much I can see from around me.
I guess, yeah. I don't know, but it'd be the same for like Black Ops 2. Right? Don't you think?
Well, it's got a better like field of view, I'd say.
Yeah.
Also, with it being first person, this being third person kind of has.
You can switch to first person if you pause it and go to options.
That would take time.
Why you just do this? Look, I'm gonna do it right now. Game. Just go to game and then just switch. There.
Alright.
Yeah, have fun with that. It's not even good. It's shitty. You can't even see your gun.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, come on. Hey, whoa. What are you getting in the weeds for?
Just
getting lost.
I wanted to increase sensitivity.
Oh, okay, go do it then. Go do it. Whatever. I'll just talk. So, what you said? Jurassic Park for your that's like your nostalgic choice. That's like your childhood choice.
Yeah, because for everyone, I don't know. I feel like you go in 3 categories when you're younger. You get some kid that's like special interest is cars.
Okay.
Like maybe Matchbox cars, and then they get into like, ooh, this car looks cool. And then you get like my brother, he was interested in like superheroes, specifically Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
And then
yeah, me too. So was I. Yeah.
You get someone like me who is more interested in like dinosaurs.
Okay.
Heck, I remember for 2nd grade, I made a dress up as someone that like inspired us, and I chose Barnum Brown. He was just an archaeologist for the time.
Okay. Nice.
Who had uncovered some T-Rex like fossils at the time, but that was something that interested me, and it's like the science. I guess the science fiction is what the movie is.
Yeah.
But how they try to portray the science, the idea for it, like of extracting DNA was like interesting to me. It's like, could that be possible? And looking at that, it didn't seem so at the time. But as time went on, we would see people getting like, I guess the Ice Age wasn't as far away as the dinosaurs, but they would take like mammoth DNA, and then you'd see people genetically like making mammoth meatballs for some reason. I'm like, I started thinking maybe it's possible.
Yeah. Okay. But
it's something that far like in the past. The DNA starts to deteriorate too much. It's just, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Most we're probably going to see is maybe like idea of it like in a hologram.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of museum.
Like a reconstruction of one or something.
Yeah, something visual, like that. but
Mammoth meatballs.
yeah. And I forget how much they were, but they're like, I think they were like over $30,000.
Oh, God.
It's like just for one,
Yeah.
which is insane. But at the same time, I guess it's took a lot of time and effort to get it. But at the same time, like, why would you want to eat that? Like, why would you care? I don't.
No, you wouldn't try any like exotic animals. Would you even eat any exotic animals now? Like, would you try like snake and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's like the weirdest meat that you've had so far? Probably just like what, venison? Ostrich? You ever had ostrich burger?
No, I haven't had that, but
Kangaroo?
oh well.
You can order a lot online.
It was like, so I was talking with one of my buddies, and they got these like stores where you can get some exotic meat, like wild fork.
Okay.
And he did this one time, and it inspired me. I guess I talked to him last semester, and he said that he had gotten like alligator meat, and it prompted me when I went back home to go out and try it.
Fuck.
I wasn't a big fan of it. It was, it's like a weird mix. I feel like for me, like maybe chicken and pork. A bit more on the chicken side. I didn't like it too much. I know I've also tried bear, and I do agree with a lot of people to say it's a little bit fatty.
What does it taste like?
It's just kind of fatty. I can't. It's like gamey. You know how like venison is.
Yeah.
But it's just not as
Well, like it
good.
has like a rancid aftertaste.
No, it's just like kind of how it tastes. It just feels like fatty, but there's not a whole lot on it.
Oh, okay. Not a lot of meat. It's just a lot of fat. Yeah.
Well, it's the way it tastes because they need that also, like the fat for like hibernation.
Well, so maybe you could use the fat in like cooking or something.
Yeah, you definitely
like I can make a regular burger taste good then. Burger with bear fat.
maybe like you get like some fat, like you can do like
and then maybe you
like
just
bacon grease or something, but instead you do like bear fat. Could be interesting.
Yeah, and then you just pick out the meat from the fat, and then you can make like a stew or something, or you can make like fucking bear tacos or something. Just something with like small like ground meat, probably little bits of meat, probably, right?
Yeah, and I guess that's the problem with like hunting for bear is you get a lot of people that yeah, it's got a lot of meat, but the meat isn't that good, so most people just kind of go for either like the pelt or the taxidermy aspect of it.
Yeah.
And it's just how popular I guess it is kind of at the time, but some people enjoy it. Majority of people I guess don't. I don't blame them after trying it. I tried it over when I was hanging with my grandpa. One of his friends had shot one on his property, black bear, and I was offered it. Tried it, wasn't a fan. But hey, it's one of those things I say I've tried, just like alligator.
Nice. Yeah, but it's not something you prefer or anything. It's not something you would go out of your way to eat.
No, I'm more on like the classic line. Plus, it's easier to hunt. Is like deer.
Yeah.
So venison, but also elk is pretty good as well.
It'd be cool to have like a bear pelt though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, like when I'm older, I want to go with my dad to like Alaska.
Oh, nice.
And do like a grizzly bear hunt. I think that'd be pretty cool.
What do you think the best state in the country is for hunting these days?
Or
just like some of the best. You could also pick a region.
I guess it depends on what you're hunting for.
Yeah.
Now, for all around, I don't know. I would say maybe like in the like Alaska's good, but it's just kind of a bit more wild, a lot more space between. So if you're really looking for wild hunting, like real like backcountry.
Yeah.
I know Montana's pretty good for that. You get some of the Dakotas, maybe Idaho, but real backcountry, like you're out there and there's not many people around.
Yeah.
Alaska's good for that, but
well, you're from California. You're a Californian, so
I know.
What about Cali, bro? What about
California?
What about SoCal? Yeah, hunting in
it's got
in
good
LA.
It's got great bird hunting.
Okay, bird
when
hunting.
You kind of go
like
out
small game
out of the city. Yeah, it's got good bird hunting, but the problem with that is the gun restrictions that the state puts on you. It sucks.
Okay.
That's why whenever I would go hunting, I would go out and visit my grandpa in Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good out there. A lot of deer and stuff.
Is it like mid though, or?
I don't know. A lot of people when they do hunt deer out there, it's a lot of farmland, and a lot of people own a lot of like land if they like own farms.
Okay.
So they'll use that, and the deer love to graze in the farm specifically. So
okay.
they'll have the deer come on. They'll have deer blinds.
So it can be kind of easy. They gather there anyway. So,
Yeah.
but
So
there's no sport in that though, really, right?
there is no sport. So what my
Yeah.
grandpa and I would do, at least when we were younger, in my first few times out hunting, we would just go out into a forest.
Okay. Yeah.
You find a spot in the forest where you're just gonna like maybe like a fallen tree or like a tree stump,
Nice.
and you just sit there for hours.
Oh,
You,
okay.
like bring a book,
Yeah.
something to like take like your mind off of just sitting there forever. But
Does he tell you like old guy stories?
he would in the car, but once we're out there, it's just relatively quiet. So
Oh, yeah.
he'd have a book,
Just like listen to the ambience of like the nature.
in
around
nature,
you?
and listen
Yeah.
for any like trampling of leaves of anything.
Yeah.
Um,
You guys use like the whistles, the call whistles or whatever.
no, like you can, but what me and my uncle, not uncle, but my grandpa would do is we would just sit out there and wait.
Oh, okay.
And most of the time, you might not get anything, or you might see something, but it's just not what you're looking for. Like if we got a buck tag, then obviously we're not gonna shoot a doe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But and then if you got a doe tag, then you're not gonna shoot a buck.
Okay.
But it was just sometimes just fun sitting out there. You can read. Sometimes I'd sit out there, put down the book, and just like relax. Just be alone in my thoughts.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
kind of nice.
That's
you
good.
don't have any like chaos, I guess, of like the city. At least
Yeah.
being from SoCal, that's there. Just you don't get a very like often where you find yourself in a very quiet environment to really just think.
Yeah.
And
So what, like SoCal's like overstimulating.
pretty much, there's always something going on, even at night.
Even
it's
like
hard
even
to-
like Orange County, isn't that kind of like the suburbs though?
Kinda, I guess you could say. But the problem with like Orange County and all that is, LA is such a big city.
Oh, like everything just like bleeds in.
Yeah.
To it. Yeah.
LA
You can't get away from it. Yeah.
LA is kind of like, I guess you could envision it maybe like a cancer.
Okay.
Like
It's like a literal cancer. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it's cancerous. Like it's got some
it just
good
behaves like one. Yeah.
stuff, but like
Okay.
the way it like reaches out and
Yeah.
it like consumes the surrounding areas.
Yeah, it's got a far reach.
Yeah, it's like that, or maybe like a parasite.
Okay.
But
So there's like literally nothing you like about it. You can't think of like a single positive quality.
well, what I can say is it's great for the economy. It's got some interesting aspects to it, like some interesting art museums. Very popular beaches, a lot of attractions. And just I guess if you're into the kind of stuff like interesting nighttime activities,
Yeah.
like clubs and all that, but I don't really care for that because also at night nowadays it's just a lot of homeless people, a lot of I guess you could say zombies,
Yeah.
people on drugs.
Well, you can include like restaurants into
Yeah, it
like
is.
Nightlife. So like I mean, there's got to be like good food there. You know?
But the problem that I see with that is if you want like better food, like one of my favorite places is a place in like San Juan Capistrano.
Yeah, is that Ricardo's?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called Ricardo's. It's been family owned forever, but I enjoy that.
How
They
many
only-
years do you know?
How many years like have they been there? I don't know, but
Oh, yeah.
I do know that they've been there long enough where the like original like person that started it, the Ricardo himself, I guess.
Yeah, the titular. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a photo of him with Richard Nixon when
Okay.
Nixon
Yeah.
visited the restaurant. So
So,
it's
yeah.
been around a while.
Far back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's been a while, but
Yeah. What do you usually get there?
I get like just they do burritos. Like they're I don't know, decently sized, like maybe not the exact length of like your forearm, but
Oh, okay.
like if you like take your hand, I guess, and like kind of spread it out into as wide of a C as you possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe about like slightly larger than that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
At least depending on your hand size. But they're decently sized, and you can get whatever. I guess when I was younger, I would just get like a bean and cheese because I was
Nice.
picky. But as I've grown, I've like accepted more into my palate
Okay.
of foods, and so this thing called like the Pronto burrito. It's got carne asada, some chicken, but it's got like refried and black beans, some lettuce, and like you can get it with I forget some of the others, also rice in it and all that. But
Yeah.
it's a lot of the classic stuff. But you can get it, and it comes with like this like you can get it wet or dry. When it's wet, it's got like this red sauce that they do on it, I like to kind of do it on the side.
Yeah.
Because if you kind of wet the burrito, my problem with it is that it kind of falls apart a bit easier.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll put it on the side, I'll put it in like a little cup, and then as I'm eating, I'll pour it onto the section I'm eating.
Nice.
So it's all there at like one spot.
Yeah.
And not gonna ruin it as it falls apart. But I also do some like pretty good enchiladas I've had in the past. But it's also got some like LA's got some good like seafood.
Yeah, yeah. Which I like. I don't think you like it as much as I do though.
Well,
you don't like Asian food. That's your thing. Because I'm half Asian, so it's like I'm used to it.
That's not necessarily true. It's just like some of this, like, I guess the problem with being like, the classic white boy thing is like I can't handle a whole lot of spice.
Oh, okay.
Like,
you don't like wasabi? You don't have to have wasabi and stuff on it, though.
I know, but
or
some
kimchi.
of their stuff, like, and you order it, it's just like it comes with spice. And
Dude, like some of the best stuff, though, it's like the spicy tuna hand roll. That's what I get every time I go to sushi in Vegas, where I'm from.
Yeah. Well, also, for me, I don't like the idea of eating anything like raw.
Yeah.
So sushi for me has just been like off the table.
Okay.
I think I may have tried it once, but not a big fan. I do know I am a fan of calamari.
Yeah.
When my family would sometimes go to Mexico, I tried that once. I was like worried I wasn't gonna like it, but turns out it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
But for me, I like shrimp, crab. Big fan of crab, man, lobster. But I'm more in terms of the fish side. I'm more of a fan of like lake and river fish.
Freshwater.
Yeah,
salmon,
freshwater.
Salmon. Yeah.
All
Halibut. Yeah. Cod.
Yeah, and like my favorite, I'd say fish is walleye.
Oh, walleye. Okay.
Yeah, I would go out with my grandpa out in Wisconsin and fish for them.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
They put up a bit of a fight, kind of like pike.
Sounds like a 1950s memory or something, like old fashioned shit.
What, like going out?
Like fishing trips with like grandparents and everything. Yeah, they don't do that shit in Vegas. So
I guess not, but out there we also got family that lives in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So we, whenever we'd visit them, we're there.
Oh, okay.
Either good hunting or
yeah,
fun fishing or just hanging out in general.
It sounds nice though. It sounds cool.
Yeah. It's, I guess, good. Like, it's good to get away from monotony of, Southern California.
Yeah, this is also I think it's a film podcast and channel in general at first, but it's also it's a literary channel too. It's a writing channel because it's where I, kind of pursue my secondary interest of like writing and literature. So I will ask you, what was like the best book you were assigned to read in high school or in any kind of school, because a lot of people don't like the shit that they get assigned in like English class, but I think my favorite was probably Lord of the Flies. In middle school, I really liked that one.
I will be honest, a lot of the stuff I read, I don't fully remember. Of course, I'll remember.
Why you wouldn't pay attention? Dude?
Well, it's just like I read through it so quickly. And then I would just go back to reading what I was interested in.
Nah, that's bad though, because people say Zoomers are like illiterate, so you gotta fight back a little bit, bro.
Well, it's not a problem. I'd go back to reading what I enjoyed. So I would, of course everyone will probably, if you were forced to, I had to read like Wonder.
Okay.
But
that's like a terrible book though. That's like the terrible example.
It is. But
it's literally just like a fucking.
The only thing I find funny about it is like how like in the book, they describe all these deformalities, and then in the movie they also just watch like they could not find someone that messed up.
Oh.
I guess the only way you could find someone is maybe a burn victim.
So they invented someone that's more messed up than real life even is capable of.
Yeah, okay. It's like I guess how people sometimes say like Helen Keller isn't real. It's just to spread awareness for that.
Okay.
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason what people would get out of making that thing up. Like,
yeah.
I don't see the use of it.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure she's real, but I also haven't looked into the schizo theories or anything, so I wouldn't know.
Neither
maybe there's some lore that like changes the whole narrative or something. I don't know.
But I remember in like middle school, we were in like talking about Greek mythology, and that
Did you like that?
Well, we talked about it a bit.
Did you like the Odyssey?
We weren't required to read it. But what I went and did is I went to our library and I checked that out and I read the Odyssey and the Iliad, It was interesting.
Okay, so you did extracurricular reading then.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay.
Uh,
Okay, so then just what's the best book you've ever read in general then if your school didn't have any like, good options?
any memorable ones?
Okay.
Uh,
You got to pick like you got to narrow it down to one though. It's like the whole, whichever one just like off the top of your head, like it'll say a lot about your personality or whatever.
Personally, I guess it would go with my other movie choice, which was 1917.
Okay.
One, I would say it was a book that I went out of my way to read because, as we were going through history, we were talking about World War II and all that. And I found this book. It was, I'm pretty sure it's probably longer than this, but it was just, for me, I just remember it's titled D-Day. By the author was like Stephen E. Ambrose.
Okay.
And it's a lot of first-hand accounts on what happened at D-Day from both the Allies and the Axis.
Oh, okay, nice, yeah.
And I read through that, and a lot of it like really hit me, and like the way it's first-hand accounts, so the way they describe it like can really like stick with you.
Yeah.
And after reading that, I kind of I would be in my English class, and we'd have this writing assignment. Well, sometimes I didn't want to do like the writing, or and the teachers were like, "Oh, you got to work," because I could finish those assignments pretty quickly. Sometimes I'd finish them before and then just have nothing to do. But the teachers want you to look like you're working, so the other kids don't be like, "What's he doing?"
Yeah.
And sometimes like I just didn't want to do it that day, so instead I'd start like writing my own stories, and I've been writing stories of my own since elementary school.
Okay. Yeah.
Given they were very cringe.
Okay, I'm gonna make you read them on the podcast someday.
All right.
Yeah.
I never finished my one on like D-Day, but it's just like one, I guess, chapter. I was gonna do more with it, but then life got,
yeah,
in the way. But in elementary school, I had written this kind of story. Very cringe now that I look back on it, but it's given me some good memories. I titled it "One Day While I Was Walking in the Hood."
Okay, what the fuck?
Yeah,
what?
yeah, it was cringe.
What are you writing?
It was like,
how do you even like arrive at that? Like, how do you get to that point?
I don't know. I was like, I think 4th or 5th grade.
Okay.
And just, messing around. I guess we didn't even have any like writing assignments. I just wrote that up my own accord.
Just for fun. Okay.
Yeah.
What was it about?
I can't even remember. It's been a while since I've even looked into that.
Oh god. Do you still have it, or do you have?
Oh yeah, I have it.
Oh god. On your computer or something?
I believe I got it on my computer, and then I got some other stuff that I wrote after my first dog had passed away.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then in high school, there was also like even before the war in Ukraine broke out, I guess also after like reading more war stuff.
Yeah.
Like World War II, the bloodiest conflict that the world has ever seen.
Yeah.
I just wrote kind of like something about like kind of the pointlessness of war and like why do we even do it? And I found it funny because like less than a month later, the war in Ukraine broke out, and I'd already written that. I was like just wondering like,
okay,
why?
Well, you could have like submitted that somewhere and then said it was about Ukraine, and then you could have gotten like I don't know
some probably,
yeah.
but
yeah, you should have.
It wasn't, and it wasn't. And
like
so,
pad out your resume with stupid shit like that.
I don't know. I feel like that'd be academic dishonesty, and
no, that's just the game, dude. What are we talking about? People do stupid shit like that all the time. It's like what every like kid that gets into like Ivy League shit does. I mean, like, do you think anyone really cares about like doing the Peace Corps or whatever, or like building huts in like fucking underdeveloped countries and everything? They just do it to go to Yale or whatever.
Probably not, but I had to. I forget what it was, but I had to like just for I did do something like that. So, personally, my mother made me. I didn't want to do it, but I was like, "Oh, look good on your resume." So in high school, I had to join the Gay Straight Alliance.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's called. It just because it looked good on the resume.
Okay.
Did I agree with it?
Why'd you kill me? What the fuck?
No. But did I agree with it? No. Not all the stuff. Like I'm okay. Like, in my eyes, like, well, I'll mind my business, you mind yours. It's just fine. But if you force stuff on me, then I will then get unhappy. But
okay, yeah.
as long as we mind our own business, we can talk, we can be friends. But if you force stuff on me, I'm gonna have a problem.
Have you ever had a gay friend or no? in your entire life?
If I have, they have not told me.
Okay.
But, you know, also I haven't checked up on some of my friends from middle school or high school, so stuff happens.
Yeah.
And where I live, it's kind of a liberal place, so I wouldn't be surprised if people have changed.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, some of the stuff looks good on resumes, but personally, I didn't want to, I guess, put my writing on there.
Yeah.
It was just kind of personal.
Okay. Yeah, well, as long as that stupid hood walking through the hood story doesn't have any like bullshit in it, then we could read it on here. I'm gonna make you read it.
Well, remember, it's not like
you're gonna have to look at it first though, because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube if you write something stupid.
It's not that, because remember, it's basically an innocent like 4th to 5th grade mind.
Okay, but why'd you write about? Why is that even like coming up in your head?
Because
all the topics you could write about, like I don't know, like fucking baseball or something, but you write about walking through the ghetto. Like, what?
Well, you got to remember, I'm like from it's a nice kind of like suburb, I guess.
Okay.
In California, and you know, just like to us, I guess it was seemed kind of like funny because I guess from where we were, the hood seemed kind of funny. I guess for the people living in it, probably wasn't, but.
Okay.
You know, at the time, it just seemed like a funny joke.
Okay.
I guess it was kind of insensitive, but I was a 5th grader. I was super immature.
Oh, God.
Like, do I really have regrets about it? I don't know. I haven't, like, put it out there too much.
Yeah.
It's not that, I guess it's really not that bad. I guess the name is probably the worst part.
Okay. All right. Well, what about like your normal writing, like your war stories and everything? Like how do you approach writing those? What's your process?
Well, my process is really like if I can take outside inspiration. Now, the way I did it, it's obviously I'm not using like firsthand accounts, so it's technically historical fiction.
Yeah. Do you just use ChatGPT?
No. It's I guess just as it kind of comes, I write it.
Nice.
And then, you know, I'll sit down and I'll come back to it and look it over. And I've done that several times with that and realized, oh, this doesn't flow as well as I'd like.
Do you do research to make it historically accurate?
That's what I did. So after I read all those first-hand accounts,
yeah,
I did that and then just kind of took that. But since it's like basically fiction and what I read was like just straight historical,
yeah,
I can take some, you know, creative liberties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of liberties? Just anything that makes the narrative more interesting or something? More action?
I guess leaving out like some of all the gorge to make the, you know, story kind of flow a bit better.
Okay.
Like there's some obviously because you don't want to make it seem like it was all like, you know, flowers and ponies and all that.
Yeah.
Don't want to make it seem like it's in whatever, I don't know, like Disney, like Magic Kingdom kind of stuff, like Kitty Kingdom, but you still want to show some of the horrors of war.
Why don't you show them all though?
Well, some people don't want that, and also you don't want it to be like a really dark story.
I guess, yeah. That's fun though. That's like my favorite type of like writing.
I like it.
Super dark shit.
I like it too, but you know some people don't. And also, this was never going to be something like that I was probably ever going to put out. It was just going to be something I keep to myself.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time, like I shared it with my parents. Like, oh, you could become a writer. I'm like, but that's not what I want to do.
All right, well, here's a little hypothetical for you. If you had to write something that was to be published, like what would you probably go for? Even just if it's just a basic concept or general idea. It doesn't have to be a fully fleshed out plot or anything.
Well, if I were to do that, like I left it intentionally open for my thing, for my like story about D-Day, but I would definitely like to continue with that.
Okay.
Now there's some stuff I would do. The problem with looking back at that is I'd keep going back and constantly editing it to make it flow better, like fix maybe some grammar because, you know, I was just doing it quickly. Sometimes I'd sit down at lunch and have like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So I'd like write something out quickly just to get that like the idea down before I lost it.
Yeah.
But maybe after college, sometime when I have more time, I'd like to go back, but I just don't know whenever I'm gonna see that.
You ever kept like a journal or anything?
Like a journal for what?
Just like your life, you know.
Not really.
No.
I never saw a need, I guess.
Okay, have you ever written like nonfiction then? You ever written just like essays about, creative essays or whatever, just about like interesting experiences you've had and stuff?
Well, my school has had me do that in the past.
Okay.
You know.
You ever just like done one for fun though?
Uh,
Because that's also another type of writing I like. I like creative nonfiction.
I can't say,
with good narratives.
I can't say I've done that.
Or even there's some journals that are pretty good too, that by writers that are they incorporate elements of novels into them, and they just draw from real life for their inspiration.
Well, as long as it's not the life of Jack London.
Why?
That's just
Oh,
sad.
his book. His book.
His
John
biographies.
Barleycorn. Yeah, that's about his alcoholism.
Yeah,
his
I don't-
alcohol addiction. Yeah.
Like my grandpa gave me
Well, you read like 2 seconds of it though.
No, you forced me to listen to like 45 minutes of it. I could not stand it.
It was good. So yeah,
It's not. I don't care for that. Now I care for his like fictional writing.
If you binge it,
My
then you
grandpa-
get it though. You didn't play it out to completion though, so you didn't get the full experience.
I don't need to hear about his drinking problem. It's not gonna like affect me. I've never had a drop of alcohol in my life, and I don't plan to. Maybe it might do something for those that are.
It's still
that have-
it's educational though. Doesn't matter. And it's insight into the writer's life and like his creative process and everything.
Yeah, but
That's
sometimes
not his only nonfiction book either. Too, he has the one where he wrote about being like a hobo. He like used to hop on trains and like travel across the country and just like live whatever day by day, just like doing little odd jobs and stuff. And then he got arrested too. He wrote about like what it was like to be in prison in like the 1910s or some shit. That one's pretty good. That's like a real life adventure.
I guess, but I would rather have that be like a fiction adventure. Like for me, like his stories, like my grandpa gave me. Well, I guess it was 2 books in one. He gave me Call of the Wild and like White Fang.
Yeah. No, those are weird. Those are like furry books though. They're about dogs and like talking dogs and shit.
They're not talking. No, it's,
But they think though, don't they? They think. They communicate.
Well, your dog thinks.
Yeah.
Just like anything else.
Yeah, but they talk to each other is what I'm saying. Yeah, they're like they are like humanized in it.
They're not. What the like Jack London describes is maybe like in the actual like pack, because they're like the whole story for Call of the Wild is he's picked up in San Francisco, like he's this mutt, a giant like mutt, I guess like like a Saint Bernard like size,
Yeah.
but he's not. He's like a mix of animals, and he was just like taken from there. He's like a house dog basically who lived
Okay.
outside
Yeah.
on his master's like property or his owner's property, and after that, he's taken, shipped all the way up to Alaska, and he's put on like put in a harness and forced to like mush across like the Alaskan wilderness for people that are like going out to find gold.
Yeah.
And he gets traded hands several times, but the only time that he interacts with the other dogs, he just describes it as like he had a problem with this other dog trying to be a leader, and it just talks about how like he would snap at the other dog. There's no talking, just he snaps at him, like trying to put him in his place.
Okay.
Might leave a gash, but then
Yeah, but doesn't it detail his thoughts and everything? Doesn't he have like a narration?
like in his thoughts, yes, but it just talks about like
Isn't it first person?
from the dog's point of view, yes.
Yeah,
Like,
so that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he literally has to talk. I'm just saying he talks like in a way in the book. That's like the narrative. He's the narrator of the book.
but it's not like
So
really
that-
intelligent. He's like he's talking about like over time, like at first like he meets like one of his new owners and he's like,
Yeah, so he's still
This-
anthropomorphized though.
I guess,
Yeah.
but it's not like real, I would say, furry stuff.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not being serious.
I was like that.
Why are you taking that literally, bro?
Well, I take everything literally,
God.
but and then he also gave me another good book from it, which is The Sea Wolf.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That
Nice,
one
yeah.
is good.
That's the boat one.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
the ship kind of gets stranded,
Yeah. But no.
and then the captain goes freaking psychotic.
Oh yeah, nice. Becomes unhinged. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good. Yeah. That's always
Yes,
fun. Yeah.
defends-
It's always when they fucking
yeah.
when they lose their shit. Yeah.
he goes mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, like stuff like that I enjoy, and then also like war stuff, just learning about it.
Nice. But no, my favorite book by him is Martin Eden, which is it's a fiction one, but it is based on his real life, and it's about how he's a poor kid who tries to make it as a writer. He can't afford to go to high school, so he just starts like working odd jobs instead. and he gets in trouble because he steals another guy's ship because he works with all the sailors at the dock, and they just like kind of scrounge for small fish that they can sell to like the other fishermen. They don't even they're like it's like a third party type of thing. They're not even really working for like the actual fishing companies. And he gets caught because they sometimes they just like steal shit from other people. They're just like little pirates, like within that community. And he steals like from the skiff of like one of the really tough guys, and he like beats the fuck out of him, and so then he has to like run across California, but he can't find any work because it's during like the Great Depression, so it's like the Dust Bowl shit. He can't find any jobs. The only job he can find is in like a laundromat where he works like 16-hour days. But even through all of that, he still manages to get published and make it as a writer and like an intellectual. Like he educates himself. He goes to like the public library of like I think like Oakland or something, and he just like teaches himself about everything. Like he gets like a college level education, but then he finds that the society there, like the rich people, are still really like superficial, and their lives are just like hollow and meaningless. And he gets like kind of like it's kind of weird because he's kind of like a liberal. He gets like super kind of like socialist because he gets upset because of the extreme like gap between the way that like the poor people live and the way that the rich people live. There's just two completely different worlds, and like the rich people don't do anything to help the poor people, and so they just have to have like these really shitty lives, and everything's like 100 times harder for them, and all of that kind of gets to him too much at the end. So then he like throws himself off a ship and just like kills himself. But yeah, do you think that's true though? Do you think that like I mean it was written a long time ago, but do you think that they still have like certain I guess socioeconomic gaps like that in the California of today based on like what you've experienced? Because you've said it, you're like a fucking upper middle class white boy from Orange County,
Well,
that's the stereotype is that Orange County's all like fucking rich like white people.
The thing is that I would say my family is personally like the way I divide these classes, you can say there's upper class, there's middle class, and there's lower class. But really, you can divide each of those classes into their own classes within that same thing. You can do like middle class, or just I call it middle, and then you can do middle upper. I got friends who are in like gated communities, but they're not rich.
Okay.
So they're not considered upper. Now my brother has some friends, who live like on the coast, and they're definitely upper class. But I would say I got some friends that are upper middle, but I'd say my family is like middle. But there is definitely some areas like it's like my mom, she teaches, and she for a long time taught at this school. It was really like in a low income area, and all the kind of areas around it. It's like it's not that they couldn't really get out, but it's just all the areas around there were like low income. It didn't really help the people there.
Yeah.
And the school, over time, it sucks. She taught there for a long time, but it started declining in population. I don't know if that's people moving out.
Oh, okay.
Or, what, but it also had a high Hispanic population.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's it, but it feels like back home, the more poor communities are mostly Hispanic. I don't know the correlation between that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's anything to do with race. I don't think so. But I don't know if it's just harder for them, or maybe like culturally or the family, to get out of that.
Yeah.
But you also got some people like, where I live, or, that down by the coast that are also Hispanic. So you got like kind of these gaps depending on where you live. Like where I live, it's just like middle, but then there's certain pockets where it's all lower.
Okay.
And of course, anyone that lives by the coast, they don't really have any real low income areas. Given you could have people like my uncle, who has lived like by the coast forever.
Yeah.
But he's lived in this apartment the same apartment, like single bed, like single bath apartment for, I don't know, I don't even know. I'm guessing around like 25 years, maybe more.
Yeah. Nice, yeah.
But he's a surgeon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He could move out if he wants, But he just saves all this money, and it's also because he wants to live.
Well, that's good. That's smart, though, yeah.
It's smart, but he also likes the location. He's a surfer. He's a skateboarder.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to do those things constantly, and it's good for him.
He's a beach bum, yeah. He's a beach bum surgeon.
I guess.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Very Californian.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But, you know, come back home, I've seen over the years how LA has spread to where I live. Before, I remember when I was young, like, we'd have barely any homeless people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, maybe, I think in where I lived, like, in the city I lived, there was, like, maybe 2?
Yeah.
But I can't tell if they were really homeless or whatever. You know, you'd see them on, like, the freeway exits. Nothing like where we are currently. But over the time, more people have come down that are homeless. And it's just the city people, I think, get tired of the homeless. And they think they're all going to spend it on drugs.
Yeah.
But when you come to where we are, like, the whole drug system isn't really a big thing. Like, you know, illegal substances that you're going to find in the city.
Yeah.
But, you know, so they might have a better chance of getting some stuff. But there's this one guy, like, in the past, I think, 2 years, that lives by my local grocery store, and all he does is just, like, sleep out there.
Oh, okay.
Given it's SoCal weather, you know.
Yeah.
Barely rains, and if it does, like, you know, it's maybe for, like, 3 days in the year, or maybe just one day, and it dumps all at once.
Damn.
But it's, like, always sunny. Now, it can get warm, but, you know, you can sleep wherever, but he sleeps on the ground.
Yeah.
Now, there's benches, not much hostile architecture, so I'm surprised he doesn't sleep near the playground, but that's kind of nearby. It's, like, less than a mile away.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But, you know, I've seen more people move in, like, homeless people move into the area, and then you just see the problems like LA, like, supposedly the summer games, I have no clue if that's changed because of the fires that have ravaged LA recently, but the Summer Olympic Games for 2028 were supposed to be held in LA, and if that's changing, I don't know. They might still try and go through with it.
Right.
Because, you know, the city probably needs the money after the fires, but...
Oh, yeah. Wildfires.
Yeah. It's leaked out. Because of that, the government's, like, impacted the freeways.
Yeah.
Down there, you know, like, they're doing construction, expanding them. But sometimes in order to do that, they close, like, in the freeways are, you know, like, maybe 5 or 6 lanes wide.
Yeah.
But they're trying to get it, I think, to, like, some places trying to add 2 more, and some places they're trying to add 1.
Yeah.
And even on the streets, and because of that, it's, like, really impacted everything. And it's all because of LA.
Right.
It doesn't help us. It's just to help traffic to LA.
Yeah.
For that. And all it does is really some, like, streets get down to 1 lane.
Right.
And traffic gets so backed up. And in California, we got, like, certain times for, like, rush hour where, you know, it's like bumper to bumper traffic, where you may not move very much.
Okay.
Like, you might move, like, for 1 mile, it might take you, I don't know, like 45 minutes to move a mile.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Depending on where you are. And that's, like, where I am. So it's not LA. LA is, when it gets to that, it's horrible. I'm glad. Whenever I plan my trips down there, I plan it to avoid rush hour.
God.
Because everyone's trying to get somewhere at one time because, you know, either people are getting off work or they're going to work or they're getting off for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
So you just got to avoid those. And in between those times, you should be pretty good.
Damn.
But and the problem with those cutting down the roads is that for our freeways, you know, most places, like, you know, out here they have, like, you know, speed limits for their highways, I guess.
Yeah.
Out there, like, you know, they kind of have speed limits, but they're soft speed limits because the rule is that you have to go with the speed of traffic. So if for some unknown reason the speed of traffic is 110,
oh, yeah,
by God, you better be going 110. Because if you're going too slow, then you can get a ticket.
Oh, man.
But if you're going too fast in the speed of traffic, then you can get a ticket.
Okay.
So the speed limits for the freeways are suggestions, but when you cut down those lanes, and everyone out there is super impatient,
Right.
because people just want to get to where they're going as quick as possible. It causes a lot more road rage.
Right. Well, yeah.
And more accidents, which is a problem. And it's interesting. I've seen a lot more accidents on the freeway. And then when those happen, then it shortens the lanes even more because then those lanes are closed.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just kind of poor planning. And they've been doing that construction on the freeway for... It's not even close to being done. I don't even think they're going to finish it on time for the Olympics, which is very funny.
Okay.
But I think they are saying it might be like 29 is when they're going to be done with it, which 28 is the Olympics. Thanks. But they, I think, started that in like during COVID. It's starting the planning, and then the actual construction was in like 23.
Oh, okay.
So we've been dealing with it forever. It's just been getting worse.
I'm not surprised, but yeah.
Yeah. And then my favorite thing with like streets is, I guess, nearby the middle school I went to, we got this like street that was for some reason, like you turn a corner and you can't see down there when kids are crossing. They don't even have flashing lights to tell you to slow down.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Out here, which is very interesting. But the speed limit was 45.
Oh, man.
And so, you know, people would noticeably come to a stop when kids were crossing, like during school hours, but a lot of people live there.
Right.
And there's basketball courts. So people, like kids during the weekends, are going there, like middle schoolers. And they're going to play basketball. But people are like, oh, school's not in session, so I can just go as fast, like at 45. But if the light's green and suddenly a kid runs out, because, you know, sometimes, you know, kids jaywalk because they're dumb, they get hit by cars.
Yeah.
And so the city's solution to this is not put up flashing signs to warn you of school children or signs. It's lower the speed limit by when you're going down. Not up, because when you're going up you can see ahead, but when you're going down the hill when you turn the corner, to instead of 45 to 40.
Oh, okay.
To apparently stop them from hitting kids.
Yeah.
Which I think it took them 5 kids that were hit to finally change that, which is interesting. Given I don't know how much legislature has to be passed in order to lower the speed limit in a certain area.
Right.
But I can't imagine that it would take so long that it would make 5 kids pass. I think the city was just like, we're gonna let this go as long as possible and see how long we can keep it the same for.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And then also, I guess, my high school, there's this kind of like canyon nearby. And it feels like every year, because, it's high schoolers. They're going to drink underage because they're stupid.
Yeah.
But it felt like every year there was a new, cross on the side.
Oh, yeah.
Because there'd always be some tragedy where someone would be drunk driving or speeding, and they would go over the canyon, and sadly they'd die. I don't know. There's a lot of potential hitting and death around my schools. I don't get it back home.
Yeah, you ever gone around with a Ouija board and try to commune with
No.
spirits or anything like that?
No, I wouldn't care. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how it'd be, because I didn't live in a big city. My city where I lived is pre-planned.
Yeah.
It was 100% pre-planned from the start, which is great for houses. It's great driving. Literally, if you just want to go out at night and just start cruising around,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
beautiful.
Nice, yeah.
Great
Sounds nice,
driving
yeah.
roads.
Listening to music and driving around.
Yeah, I'll typically turn on my radio.
Yeah, listen to some 80s new wave and fucking look at the sights, fucking SoCal.
Yeah, we have a thing
scenery
out of LA. It's KRIF 101,
Okay.
and they do 70s, 80s, and 90s
Okay,
music,
nice, yeah.
which I would always listen to, and I would have my windows rolled down just to let air flow through the car, my sunroof open, and then just one arm out the window and one hand on the wheel, and you can just cruise around.
All right, here's another little personality quiz for you. It's just one question: are you an album guy or a fucking playlist guy?
I don't know. Some albums I like, but then there's some that there's some songs in there that I just don't care for.
Okay, yeah.
So it depends on the band. For some of the bands, I'll just listen straight to an album. Especially the bands that do. It's been a while since I listened to one of these because I've changed kind of music. I've opened up to new genres, but some bands will do their album.
Yeah.
Where it's meant to be played in the order that the album's there.
Yeah.
And it flows great into the other songs throughout the album.
Yeah.
And those ones are great. Occasionally, just you get a band that does an album and all the songs are good.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe there's one that I just am like, it's mid and I can tolerate it. But then there's just some that in their album that they release, like there's maybe like out of the maybe 12 or 13 songs they release, there's only like 2 or 3 bangers in it.
Yeah.
And the others I'm just like, I could do without. And then I will create a playlist for that maybe band or artist, and then just listen to those.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's just sometimes playlists of that I create just of, let's say I have like a playlist for driving.
Yeah.
If I'm like back home, if I'm just driving, just want to cruise around. The speed limit's around there 30 to 35. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
And so I'll just have I always start it off with some rock and then go to softer stuff. So my favorite thing to start with was Kickstart My Heart.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because when I'm getting to go driving, I'm gonna be pumped in the beginning.
Yeah.
Given where I live, it's on a cul-de-sac, and there's on the cul-de-sac, me and my brother are the only kids that were there.
Yeah.
So, there's no danger of hitting anyone, and nobody leaves. It's all old people.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting for my parents, because then now that my brother and I are out of the house, it really is just a cul-de-sac of old people.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny. But I could just they kind of have a speed limit. I would sometimes on the straightaway, because cul-de-sac's kind of like an L shape. So on the straightaway, I just kind of speed up to a little bit more than I probably should, 5 over.
Yeah.
But I would follow the speed limit pretty well. But I think playlists have their spot. Depends. Are you driving? Are you maybe riding a bike? But an album, I feel is good if you're sitting down, just willing to listen to it for a certain amount of time.
I'm trying to find the Baja Blast that we bought with the $20 we found on the ground, right? Yeah. We went to Albertsons with it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen to me very often, getting random money. Yeah. Especially 20. That 20, that's big. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting though. I would say it's probably because of the basketball game, maybe. Or
all the people leaving here.
Yeah, or just
How do you drop a 20 though? I feel I don't know. That's big.
You could be like my grandpa, and he still uses a money clip.
Oh, okay.
And that stuff is case when you get it so full.
I'm pro money clip now. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of falls off, but for some people, I'm guessing it could just be maybe drunk frat guys or college students stumbling.
Getting drunk at a basketball game.
No, maybe
that's how lame their lives are. They're just
Well, also there was definitely. I can guarantee there's probably some frat party that weekend, but there was probably a chance that they drank too much and then maybe were stumbling back and they could have dropped it. They at that point, if they're just trying to be drunk, they're probably caring more about the alcohol than their money.
I will say I don't get the point of Greek life. I'm not even just saying that I'm jealous that I'm not part of it or whatever. It's I've never enjoyed anything about it. Even the cool stuff or whatever, like drinking and doing drugs and shit. It's the first college I went to, I had just a friend group that did that, and it's 5 or 6 people and they're all, you actually know them all personally and they're all chill, it's not some bullshit where you fucking pay for friends or whatever, it's a whole thing. I don't understand why that people even do that now in the year 2025, you know what I mean?
Well, Greek life is it feels like it's always been part of college, and some people will say it's one of those requirements to get the most out of college.
Okay.
I disagree. Now, when my parents were in college,
Yeah.
in the 90s, Greek life was big, but I don't know, it's just the party scene, I guess, was bigger back then. People cared a bit more, a lot more drinking then, especially with today's people of today, of our age, in college, they aren't really interested in drinking as much. It's getting pissed drunk on the weekends.
Yeah.
People don't really care about that anymore. They might drink just to hang out and have a good time, but they're not trying to get drunk or hang out too much. And also a lot of people just nowadays anxiety's been a widespread thing.
Yeah, everyone's fucking lame now.
Yeah, so I guess people just enjoy their time to themselves.
That's stupid. It's unhealthy. That's antisocial.
Well, some people do. Some people might like to go out and have a good time, but also it's just, some people just want to have a good time with their friends. They don't want to hang out with people they don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's how you miss out on opportunities for like meeting, like women and stuff, and like expanding your social circles. Like that's what people used to do. I mean, people in like the fucking '90s or whatever, you used to just like be around people all the time. You used to just like go to clubbing or whatever, and you just like you meet random people that you wouldn't interact with otherwise. Like people from like a whole different walk of life that have like nothing to do with you. You wouldn't cross paths unless you went to like one of those third places. Like places between school and work and home. Yeah. Like, you don't really have that anymore, though. You don't have as many, like, community spaces. There's that book, Bowling Alone, which is about how, like, people don't, America doesn't have that sense of community as much as it used to, like, in the 1950s, where everyone was kind of, like, not a hive mind, but they were connected. Everybody knew everybody else. Every place was, like, a small town. Even, like, neighborhoods in, like, a place like New York City, it's, like, it had a very distinctive, like, local culture, and, like, everybody knew everybody else, and, You knew, like, your fucking butcher by name. You knew the mailman, You all maybe... I mean, well, it does correlate into religiousness, too. It's like you all went to church together, You all had, like, similar values and worldview. You don't have that much as much anymore, and I think that that's part of the reason why people are so fucked up nowadays, because they're missing out on all those things that, like, make them more human,
Well, you can also look at this as, like, probably the most inhuman thing that's been introduced is, like, the internet.
Yeah, it's not natural at all.
Yeah, it's not natural.
And it controls us a lot more than we control it nowadays. It totally like exploits our like fucking psychology, uses it against us.
Yeah, and it's taken people away. Like that, people are, I feel like, more antisocial because of it. Because you don't need to go out. Like now, you can DoorDash something. You don't need to go say hi to your guy at your local butcher shop or your local sandwich shop. You don't need to know who works at your local supermarket. And with that, you also can just talk to people online. Yeah. You don't have to go out and speak to them face to face. You don't get those chances anymore to go out and see new people and meet new people.
Well, and I will say in defense of that a little bit, just to be well-rounded or whatever, just I will say that it is nice though that you do have the ability to like curate your own communities, people who just have like the same interests as you, same hobbies. I mean, like it could be totally random shit. Like even back in like the 90s, you wouldn't have really, you might not have had like people who are like, I don't know, let's say like hardcore fans of like fucking Seinfeld or some shit. But you go on like the fucking Seinfeld Reddit or something now. You could like become like, I don't know, you could like meet like someone, you could meet like a hot chick or something.
But
like
you could meet them
Seinfeld.
online. But the problem is that like I feel like you'd get more of a connection if you met them in person.
You could, but it's like less likely that way. So it's like if you play your cards right, like if you're like a regular fucking person and like the other person's a regular fucking person too, you could even do some shit. It just opens up the possibility hypothetically.
But how many people? Let's say like you go to those communities.
You could meet those people in real life if you actually get along with them enough online after a while.
I know, but now the problem with online is like you could say like, oh yeah, I'm a college student too. Then you meet up with them and they're like a 58-year-old like balding guy.
Hey, well that's fun too. That's like it's like the fucking mystery box.
I guess it's like, a little uncomfortable.
It's like Black Ops 2 zombies, right? It's just like whatever you get.
Yeah.
Whatever you get inside.
You're gonna go out and meet Russman.
Yeah, you just get random drops. That's just how it is. That's life. Sometimes throws you a curveball. Yeah.
I guess, but I don't know. I feel like it was more friendships and like stronger community was formed back in the day.
Well, yeah.
Than it was now. Because also now everybody cares about what people think. The only way you would spread like rumors is if you were able to talk to people. Now you can just text people.
Yeah. I don't know that you can't just like you can't like live your life being worried about what other people think about you all the time.
Oh, I don't give a crap. So yeah. I never have.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
I guess that could be a bad thing because then I can say things that
could
get me in trouble, and the things I wouldn't care, but other people care, and that can get me in trouble. Or like I can share an opinion. I guess the problem with being on the spectrum is like socializing isn't always a strong suit. So like I might say something that makes perfect sense in my mind, but to someone else it could come out as offensive.
Okay.
Or like rude, and I don't see it that way. So I can get in some trouble that way. I've been talking with my parents about that occasionally when I was growing up, and like I'm like, I would be like talking, and to me it'd make perfect sense, and my mom would just get upset, and I'm like, what did I do? And eventually over time they'd explain to me, to other people that would sound rude, and I'm like, trying to figure out slowly over time, what did I do and how can I fix that?
Oh, okay.
I'm doing a bit better, but still, there's the problems, I guess.
Yeah. Well, do you even want to fix it? Do people even fucking care about it? Like, if it doesn't affect you?
Well, if I don't care, but I'm not trying to make enemies with everyone.
Okay.
And, you know, like, I could say something, it could also be, like, my tone for the time. Like, I might just try to be in a joking way, but it could sound sarcastic, and someone might not like that.
Yeah, don't say the wrong shit at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Get misunderstood, get all fucked up. Yeah, bad shit happens.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, there might be something that's going on in my mind, and I want to change the subject, and then I say something that's, like, on the different subject in my mind, and I don't let other people know.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just comes across as, like, insensitive.
Yeah.
And I have wound up in some trouble like that.
Damn.
In, like, you know, high school. Like, one time I was kind of a little insensitive, I guess, with
Okay.
the Hispanic community.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna be honest, I was probably gonna get my ass beat.
Okay.
But luckily my brother came in, and, you know, he's more outgoing. He kind of knew all the people there, and he got him to kind of calm down.
Damn.
He helped explain the situation that I couldn't fully get across, and yeah.
Have you ever been in a fight?
With my brother, yes.
Oh, okay.
And my brother's...
How bad it get? Like, yeah.
It did not get bad, because
okay.
I know the cheat code as being guys is if you hit him in the nuts, they're out for good.
Oh, okay. Well,
So I'm...
That's cheap as fuck, though.
Yes. Given that probably last time I was in a fight was middle school with my brother.
Oh, okay.
So did that. Other than that, no. I'm
Okay.
rarely ever in any sort of altercation. I would like to avoid actually, like, physical violence. If I can talk it out with my words, I'd like to.
Yeah.
But some people just don't do it, which is why, personally, I don't road rage. My dad occasionally will. He's like, and then I, like, call him out for it and say, "I did." And I'm like, "Yes, you did," because road rage, I've seen that, like, downstairs, that can get violent. It can be horrible.
Yeah.
Like, the people can get mad. They can, like, just crash into you. You know, like, back home, you know, chances are no one's gonna have a gun with them.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, most people, if they did have a gun, they used it, like, even, like, in an altercation like that, let's say it was for self-defense,
Yeah.
you're going to be put in prison anyway. The California government is, like, you have stand your ground laws. You should be able to defend yourself.
Damn.
But the government says, oh, no, they take your guns, you get put in prison. Even if it was perfectly justified, you followed everything to a T, where you should have an easy case.
Yeah.
The California government, like, basically no one gets away with self-defense.
Damn.
Even if someone breaks into your home, you're apparently just like,
it's fucked up.
you're supposed to let them take shit, and I don't get it.
That's bullshit.
I don't agree with it, but
No, I don't fuck with that at all.
yeah, that's why I can't live there.
Yeah, it's not worth it. You're just gonna die anyway. Like, fuck, what's the point?
Yeah.
Government's just gonna let you fucking die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into that. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, do you think California will ever be normal, or is it doomed? Is it just gonna be like this for the rest of time or whatever?
Now, I don't know.
People are just gonna keep moving to places like Austin, you know, and just like, and then turn those into the next Californias.
Well, the problem is that
Just like the cycle, never-ending cycle.
the problem that I've noticed is that when people move to Texas is, it's not just, you don't just get straight, you know, Republicans, you don't get straight Democrats. So you get the people that, you know, like, you get liberals that the Texans don't want.
Yeah.
You also get the folks like the Republicans that they do want. But then there's also the problem with what's left in California is almost always just the liberals. And with the liberals almost always living in the big cities, and there's so many people in the cities, there's just too many majority of them there.
Yeah.
And the problem that I would hate to see Texas deal with this is if a lot of the liberals moved to Texas and they had the same thing happen to them like California, where right now in California, the Republicans basically have no say.
Right.
Like, it's there's too many, like, liberals. California hasn't been, you know, red in forever. Like, you know, we saw a lot of it in this election. A lot of it going red, but just not enough to compete with the big cities like LA, obviously San Francisco, San Diego. All those big cities were still blue, and I don't think that'll ever change. Like I don't know, like currently the Governor Newsom has done a pretty crappy job. Hell, the person that was in charge of the state's fire departments did a crappy job. Took like valuable water for fires out of the reservoirs. Literally shut off water to the fire hydrants, so it made it harder for firefighters to do anything.
Yeah.
But also, when you look at it, that person was also a DEI hire.
Right.
She is a lesbian and she is also black.
Okay.
And had 0 qualifications.
Yeah, because that's more important than like being good at the job.
I know,
yeah.
And I'm not trying to be mean or anything or offensive, but it's when I've done my research into this, it's when you have no background in managing that kind of stuff, then you're obviously not fit for the job.
Well, yeah.
You don't know what you're doing, but if you're put there also because everyone around you, like Newsom was basically, I'm guessing, pressured to put her there.
So it created a culture of incompetence.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, when some of the California, like, Ivy League schools open up their doors for the African-American communities, but they make it so they can get in easier.
They lower the standards.
Yeah, they lower the standards for them, but not for the other
way.
people. Like, they lower it for the African-Americans and the Hispanics, but the whites have to get through it just, like, the hard trying way. Yeah. It leads them, there's people that would go to, try and do the med school stuff there, but they're not passing because they obviously weren't fit in the beginning. But just because, you got to look good for your college, look, we're letting in everyone because you don't seem racist.
Yeah.
Because everyone fears that word, apparently. I really couldn't care less. It's just a word, and the word has been warped to what it was originally supposed to be. Yeah. It's just supposed to be you're proud of your race. But now it's oh, you hate everyone else. That was never part of the original definition of it.
Right.
But now it's just a word that's been weaponized. Someone can literally just say you're racist and your career can be over.
Yeah. Well, and the whole thing about Title IX diversity and equity type bullshit anyway is that it's so stupid that it screws over the people who actually deserve it too, because there are people in underprivileged communities. There are plenty of there are plenty of regular fucking black and Hispanic and fucking even Asian, whatever, students who are just they stand out and they're capable of doing the hard academic work, and they're capable of getting into the Ivy Leagues and everything. But they probably don't get those same opportunities too, because they go to just random people for the sake of this equity stuff. It's not based on people's actual merits and qualities anymore. It's just based on categories. The system itself is racist and biased and sexist and everything that it purports to not be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
It makes all of that even worse. It doesn't help anything at all. It actually makes it 10 times worse, and it makes people resentful too. So all it does is create division. It just plays everybody against each other.
It has, and I've noticed that because California's got a lot of Ivy Leagues as well, but the problems that I've seen with that is you get what you're talking about, where there's people in the poorer communities that are honestly smarter than some of the kids in the middle or upper class.
Yeah, because that's what life is. It's just random shit happens. It's people are just individuals, and some individuals have whatever. They just have their own kind of attributes. It's not, the system itself is fucking racist as shit, because it's condescending too. It assumes that those minorities aren't going to be as capable of getting in without the extra help too.
No, because the people,
they need a boost. They need a handicap,
And what I've noticed is that in the poor communities, for the Hispanic, and we don't have where I was from was mostly Hispanic, but I know probably in LA there's some of the African Americans, but for the Hispanic community, a lot of those Hispanic kids really wanted to get out of there, and they did a lot better. Cause my mom recently transferred to a school that's a lot of these rich kids.
Yeah.
Instead of these poor communities.
Right.
I guess the bonus is better teacher gifts, but at the same time,
okay.
I've talked to her about this, and the kids in the the majority of the kids of the colored kids in the probably should rephrase that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, probably should
what
not.
The fuck?
Sorry.
What the fuck, dude?
Well, they were Hispanics, I guess, but there was a few African Americans, but a lot of those kids and there's some, obviously there's whites, there's everyone there, but a lot of those people that were in the really low income, like their parents were like struggling, they did a lot better because either their parents were not forcing, but they encouraged them.
Yeah.
But also they wanted to either like prove themselves to their parents or try and get out of there.
Yeah, they have
their
a drive.
scores
They have an incentive to leave. Yeah.
Yeah, their scores on their quizzes and all that were better than often those students in like the upper
Oh, okay.
class division areas.
Because they don't have to work as hard because they can go cry home to mommy and daddy.
But with the system of like the Ivy Leagues accepting everyone is that basically it's like the boy who cried wolf, but I feel like the person who cried black is able to just do that, and it doesn't matter where you come from. If they shut you, they can be like, oh, you're from an upper class family, so we're looking for the lower class. Then they can cry, I guess, their color of their skin, and then oh no, the school is racist. But if they're really just looking for the best of the best, I think it would be better for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to go to Ivy Leagues. Yes, do they look great, but most people really don't care where you go for college.
Right.
After college, most companies are not going to care.
No.
They're going to look for, do you have experience? And, obviously, your major will help. Like, if you're trying to, I don't know, let's say you're trying to work in, forensics.
Okay.
And you're, for some reason, a history major. You're put up against someone who's, actually got a forensics major. They're obviously going to pick the forensics major. They're not maybe this history guy's got a different point of view. And it's well, I don't think it's going to help them. But if you look at it from the points of, the Ivy Leagues, okay, that might do something, but I feel like 9 times out of 10, the employer's just looking for, okay, does your major fit it? And then also, if you're put up against a person in the same major, who has more experience?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe sometimes now they might care about skin color, but I feel like most times the companies that I'm looking forward to, as a someone who's trying to become a game warden, I'm going to work for the government anyway. They're not really going to care.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They're looking for anyone that's willing to
You worried about getting a job though? Aren't those super competitive jobs to get?
Well, I guess it depends where. It's just if I wanted to work in a national park, okay, someplace like Yosemite, maybe Yellowstone, or Glacier. I don't know, what is? I don't even. I'm trying to remember some of the others, but
Redwoods? No, you don't want to go back to California.
I don't want to go back, but the Redwoods are also beautiful. Those places are going to be hard to get into.
Ooh, Grand Canyon, it's so beautiful.
But also, yeah,
and it's so comfortable there with all the heat and the dryness.
Yeah, the problem with the Grand Canyon is they look for people that have know what to do, to explain to people. So a lot of talking to people about what's there. They also need to warn people, because the number one cause of death in the Grand Canyon is people that think they know everything.
Oh, so they fall off?
No, it's that the park rangers warn people.
Was this the water thing?
Yeah, to bring water.
Yeah.
And multiple people, even families, will go down there with not enough water, and they'll go down to the base of the canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way back up, they don't have enough. And it gets so hot down there in the summer when most people have their time off and they visit,
right,
that they get dehydrated, and some people sadly die.
Right, yeah.
But when you're being hired, they want people that
Unsurprising.
can talk to people, but they also want people to be able to tell them about the geology of the canyon.
Right, yeah.
The canyon's been formed over millions of years.
Yeah, they want to know the lore, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you appreciate it more if you actually get the perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of the history, the formation process,
And for that,
if there's any wildlife there and what they do.
Yeah, and for that, it's if I went to, I don't know, Yale, or someone who went to, I don't know,
Well, you could have gone to the UCs, but you don't even give a shit.
That's
a huge opportunity too, but you don't even care.
I don't care, and also for what I wanted to go into, which is in nature, they're basically in the cities of LA.
Yeah.
There is no nature there
Doesn't
that is
quite-
fun.
doesn't
Maybe
quite work.
maybe rats. If you
Yeah.
consider the homeless drug addicts as nature, then maybe. But I need to get out. I need to find a place that's actually in nature, and that'll help you also with the major hiring process. They know that you have experience in that area. You've been there, lived there. And also there's better hiking out where I am right now.
Yeah. I mean, the only city I'm really interested in is New York. But that's just because it's like such a caricature of a city. It's like so fucked up that you just kind of have to like see it once.
Yeah.
But I don't want to die either. So it's fucked up. It's like that's the only city I'd ever go to, and I think it's like the most dangerous. I mean, like I don't know, because like realistically, I'm not gonna go to fucking Detroit or like I just any random like shitty like poor city. I'm not gonna go to like Gary, Indiana, just for fun. So like out of all the mainstream like major U.S. cities, it's like that's the only one I have any interest in. But it's also like because it's so weird. It's like so I don't know, just like it's got so many problems. It's like I don't know if I would ever actually go or not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I wish I could go to like those cities in the past.
Yeah,
it's
like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's like how...
Not in the 80s when the fucking crack epidemic was going on, but maybe...
I know.
Like, maybe like 2000, not 9/11. Maybe just the year 2000, the year I was born.
Yeah, let me visit New York on September 11th, 2000.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, that'd be horrible. But it's like how when my parents were... Like, I was talking to them recently, like when my dad was in college, like he would go down to Mexico, and he was talking about how at that time, all you really need to do was show your driver's license.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't need a passport to get in.
Yeah, much laxer border security.
Yeah, but also it's so much safer back then.
Yeah, it's a high trust society type thing.
Yeah, and it's just, over time, you got the cartels, which is a problem.
Yeah, not good, bad.
So that's obviously a problem. And then even now, with, like, border problems, it's made it dangerous. And then, you get, like, drugs, and then also, I don't know, I feel like society's always been violent.
It's crumbling, yeah.
But it's just... I don't know. I feel like the whole trust of society, at least in those big cities, is falling apart.
Yeah.
Like, you can go to a small town and, a small town where, like, you might not everybody knows everybody. It's obviously there, like, there's very high trust, but where, you might know, your local church pastor, and then you might know maybe, like, the owner of this, like, family-owned store that's been there for a few generations. And it's got pretty good trust, but you go to a place like L.A., or any big city, like even if you go to like a major store, like it's funny because people have to now like lock up even these most petty items, like shampoo has to be locked up.
Yeah.
Deodorant has to be locked up because people just steal it. And that's also another thing I hate about California is that California had made a weird rule where if you want to shoplift, it's still legal.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, but like the courts aren't gonna like if you get caught, obviously you're gonna be like taken to jail. But if like someone reports that you stole something, but you weren't caught by the police, like of up to $999, they're not gonna pursue them.
Right.
Now, apparently, they will pursue is if you go like to 1,000, which is always my favorite like joke to make is the $1 difference between like being like searched out for, like found and brought to justice, and just being left to steal, is insane to me. But it's ruined the trust where everything is like locked up. Like everything's got a tag, like those alarm tags that you see on like maybe expensive clothing.
Right.
You might see a crappy T-shirt and like maybe let's say Walmart, it doesn't have a tag on it. But then you go to like I don't know like outdoorsy stuff like REI, for example, maybe they have like a tag on it that'll set an alarm off if you take it out of the store. And it's just gotten to such a problem out there. Like out here, you're gonna get like the expensive items put behind glass.
Right.
That's expected. But out there, it's like almost everything. It's sad to see that we can't trust people.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to be able to trust people. Like it's things I like to say. It's like I'd like to be able to trust people, but time and time again they've proven that they cannot be trusted, and it sucks.
Well, yeah,
because it just ruins society.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you can't. That's why you can't have nice things, like the fucking cliche goes.
Yeah.
Because just a few fucked up people fucking ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope it changes.
Yeah.
But as of now, I don't think there's any sign of it changing.
There's no more shame in society. There are no real consequences. Everybody's got to be treated with fucking kids' gloves.
Yeah.
It's a very permissive, very open society, but in bad ways, you know. It's not genuine openness. It's more like just like taking it in the fucking ass, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no more fucking law and order. There's no more structure. There's no more standards. People don't have standards anymore. People used to dress up. They used to wear fucking suits all the time.
Yeah.
You know, even when it was hot as shit out, they would just, you know, dress formally. They would have some self-respect. You know, they would go to church. That kept them, you know, that kept them accountable, kept them on the straight and narrow. You know, even big places had, you know, that kind of those just regular, you know, traditional values or whatever, social values. That sense of social responsibility as well, and like civic duty. Like people used to be proud to be American, you know. They used to be proud to be a part of this country.
Yeah.
That's gone through like so much shit over the years. The great American experiment, you know, and then the most successful democracy of all time ever, is the U.S. You know, and people just fucking shit on it all the time now. Everyone thinks it's a joke, and everyone tries like as hard as they can to demoralize. Kind of that whole, you know, demoralize and deconstruct and like go against the whole, just the idea of what like America and like what being American is, you know.
Yeah, and I also feel like, you know, it's not just the fact that times have changed, but I don't know, to me it feels like also how religion has kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
Like it used to be so common back in the day that, you know, you'd go to church. At least, you know, it doesn't matter what religion you were, but you'd go to some church. But now I feel like a lot more people are atheists and they don't believe.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, those like kind of rules that are hidden in religion, like as a Christian, you know, I feel like it would, you know, keep people on the straight and narrow, even especially back in the day. A lot of people like believed in it. But when you don't believe in anything and you just believe in the rules of society that are crumbling around you, then, you know, there is nothing holding you accountable for anything, and you can act as wild and crazy as you want.
Yeah. And that's not good. Obviously.
That's why I do think like a religious like reawakening for society would be a great thing.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if that'll happen.
You don't think it's likely?
I don't know. Like,
I think it adds up though, because I think a lot of like the country people don't usually think about. They don't think about they call them the flyover states, you know, the Midwest and all that.
yeah.
You got plenty of people there who still keep, you know, that type of lifestyle and everything, and they just, you know, they just don't get talked about a lot. They're not in like the media, they're not in like movies and TV shows, but I think there's that silent majority of people who will always be the way they are, kind of no matter what. Even with phones, even with social media, they'll still have that kind of like small town lifestyle.
At least what I have hope for.
And I think it adds up, because I think there's so many small, you know, places like that, small towns like that. I think they add up to kind of like a lot more than you would think, you know.
Yeah.
And they vote and stuff still, so they still have a say. But, you know, those like coastal elites, like those major cities get overrepresented a lot, so people, that whole perspective kind of gets skewed. But, you know, our perception of like what this country is, they get more of a say, you know, than like the majority of people. But if the majority of people, like if the demographics were actually representative of all of that, I think it would look a lot different.
Yeah. What does give me hope is that, you know, the statistics show that more of the younger generation is becoming more religious.
Yeah.
But like.
Yeah, but they like weird shit. They get into like orthodoxy and like fucking like TikTok like religions and whatever.
Yeah, which I don't know. Like, and I don't know what they're polling. I'm guessing they're polling like people our age is religious.
Yeah.
But then I look at like the people that are like chronically online, and I really don't think that they are gonna be. I think it's gonna suddenly die. Like, you know, we just had, what is it? So like we're Gen Z, but at least I know I am. And
yeah, I am too. It's early.
Yeah, and then what is it? Is it Gen Alpha now or? What?
Yeah, Gen Alpha, the new one, the skibbity toilet generation.
Yeah, and then weren't they just saying like, is Beta out or is that
Beta?
I forget what it was.
Probably. Yeah.
I think they're talking about like like this year is apparently another one.
Yeah.
Just came out, but those folks that are chronically online, like, I don't know. I don't think they have a place for religion in their lives.
Yeah. I don't know either.
I don't know if they really care enough.
iPad babies? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Like, because all that stuff, like, it just takes you away.
What about the older generations? What about your parents?
My parents, they grew up, you know, obviously going to church, especially their parents. If, like, you didn't go to church, then, you know, there's a problem.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Even they've had a falling out. I don't know if it's just society, but I know me, like, at first for a time when I was
So
younger.
you care about it more than your parents do.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah.
I go to church more than they do.
Yeah. It's usually the other way around. So
Typically.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just one of the unique parts of society now is that, my generation's getting more into it. Like, for a while when I was younger, my parents were more into it, and I just didn't like it. But, when I got older, I looked more into it and, kind of, turned over.
Yeah.
But I kind of wonder what happened with them. Maybe I'm guessing for what it seems, their lives are super busy. And then also, I guess kind of laziness. My dad, he's like, I want to sleep in.
Right.
Like, but you don't have to go to the early church service. You can go to the one that starts at 11.
Yeah. Right.
And they're not that long. They're not like, your old traditional services that are like, multiple hours long. Like my church service is like 45 minutes.
Oh, shit. Really? Let's switch to block ups too. Let's keep it going for a little bit. Because I like to record in bulk, and I'll split this video probably like in half or in thirds. And then that way we get more content. But yeah. Since it is your introductory thing to the channel, though, I mean, I guess I'll just keep asking you like what your favorites are. We can get a sense of like your media preferences, I don't know, I guess your artistic sensibilities, what sways you. So I guess we could do music. What's your favorite band of all time, and then maybe like one right now too? Because music taste changes a lot with age and where you're at in life.
Yeah.
You could talk about that band that you made me sit through the fucking 2 hour. It was interesting. I mean, I like certain aspects of it. Just went on a little too long.
I guess, yeah.
If it was just an hour, it would have been like totally chill. But it overstates welcome a little bit. But I get their aesthetic and everything. They're kind of like Slipknot,
Yeah.
I kind of fuck with that a little bit. Yeah.
I'd say my current band is they're a Swedish band, started in 2006.
Okay.
Their name is Ghost, and their whole thing is, which I find interesting. Like the members are all like religious, like Christian or Catholic, but their whole thing is kind of bringing back the whole in a time where it's not really bad. Is like the whole satanic idea of music. Like I guess when my parents were growing up.
So that doesn't bother you as like a Christian to listen to satanic music?
Well, no, it's the imagery
and
what they talk about. But knowing that the members don't, now if they were really trying to do something, then yes. But it's all, what their whole thing is, like the stage theatrics of it.
Yeah.
You gotta find something nowadays, like with rappers, I don't know, you're all talking about relatively the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's not really unique. But it's taking like what happened in like the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
When, you had like, I forget what band it was, but you'd have, was it? I don't know, but was it Ozzy who bit the head off a bat?
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, so that he did that on stage. And you do stuff like that, and that's how you get remembered.
Right, yeah.
But that also like is in front of the crowd, but that's how you make a name for yourself. And that's like stage theatrics, but you got to do something that like makes you stand out. And if you don't stand out, then you just kind of fade into obscurity, like some of these rappers, I guess.
What is this? Why would it be? Oh my god, did I hit local?
But so for Ghosts, they have a whole thing.
Try again.
And one of their stage theatrics that they do is their.
That's insane. Wait, hold on. There's no way. I'm trying to get on Black Ops 2. Why does it need to be on Xbox Live? It doesn't make any sense. Wait. Okay, try again.
But for them, one of their things is that they've had their band members.
What the fuck?
Are like, at least the people like, on the instruments or, occasionally backup vocals. They are all kind of like hidden behind masks. And so they are called nameless ghouls.
Yeah.
And they've had their costumes change over time. But when they change, it's with the main singer.
Yeah.
Who, they have called like Papa.
Okay.
Or Papa, Emeritus. And they've had, it go through maybe it started with Papa Emeritus 1 or Papa 1.
Yeah.
And it went through to Papa 2, Papa 3, and Papa 4.
Yeah.
But over time, that keeps things fresh. which is good.
Nice.
And so that will change, like, they typically had one per every, like, album. Papa 4, I guess, kind of most recent one that they're having Papa 5 come out, but that's for this new tour that's coming out this year. Papa 4 did 2 albums, which is the longest one ever, which is the one I had him
Try again.
put out a movie, which I had him watch. It's the one he was complaining about. But
Okay, me. I'm not complaining about it too much. I'm just saying
it was a bit long, but it's a movie, but it really is just a recording of their concerts.
No, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's just one of those things. It's like music is so subjective, It's like you gotta. It's like getting thrown in the deep end of the pool. It's like I actually liked some of it. I liked the solo guitar riffs and everything. Like I fucked with the certain aspects of it, but I wouldn't have like gone out of my way to do that on my own or whatever. So it's like that's like the beauty of the whole thing of just like watching like random shit. But
Yeah.
that's where I was coming from with it. There could have been a smoother introduction to it than maybe like a 2 hour like Odyssey,
Yeah.
And I swear to God, that guy, the lead singer's like he's kind of annoying, and he goes out of his way to like, drag things out as much as humanly possible. Like I thought it was over like 20 fucking like 5 times as I was watching. Then it's like he hits you like with the encore scene. He hits you with like a skit that like leads to like 2 extra songs or like that extra stuff was wacky to me.
Yeah.
There's some random shit.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But, it's, I guess I'll kind of stage theatrics.
Yeah.
But with that, it's interesting. I feel like it brings back kind of like the stage theatrics of what you'd see in like the 70s and 80s that kind of made those bands popular.
Well, some of the songs, they do have like an 80s sound to them. So
Yeah, they have like, it's kind of based on like the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, it's kind of like bringing back like the idea of the Satanic Panic. And the songs they're from is the album is called 7 Inches of Satanic Panic.
What the fuck? Okay.
It's just whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea.
I didn't think you'd like a band like that because it just sounds fucking weird.
I don't know. I like.
It sounds weird on paper, but if you like the music, I guess.
The music I like.
Sound, yeah. You just don't care about the aesthetics and everything.
The idea of how they perform on stage is like stage theatrics. I like.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff they do is whatever. But that's really the only kind of, I'd say, weird album name.
Yeah.
Like, they have one album just like Impera.
Okay.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
But then for all time,
I gotta piss. Can I trust you not to get me kicked off YouTube while I'm gone?
Yes.
Are you going to say stupid shit?
No.
Because I don't know if I can like scrub through this and go back and listen. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. So
no,
don't fucking.
I'm gonna be busy, but once you get back, I'm gonna go.
Oh shit. Okay. My bad.
Yeah, unplug that. No.
Okay, so.
But I don't know what it did with the Xbox though.
Okay. Well, keep talking.
But for all time, it's a tough choice for a band of all time. Because I like all sorts of music. The only one that I have like problems with, I'd say, is modern rap. I just don't think it holds up to like the rap of like the 90s where they talk about their struggles growing up. Maybe not like them, but kind of like giving a voice to the people of the time that were like growing up in harsh places. Modern day rap is just talking about women, money, and some sexual stuff I really don't care about. I don't want to hear like really that explicit aspect of it in my music. There's some stuff they talked about in like songs in the 80s and 70s, even like some of the 90s and like pop or some rock stuff. But I don't know. They didn't really go too far into it. Like it was always in like kind of there, like in the lyrics, but you had to kind of think about it. But with the rap, they kind of just really straight talk about it, and it just doesn't work with me. But for band of all time, it's tough. Like in all sorts of music. Or artist. I don't know. There's a lot out there. it's hard to pick because like I like some of the stuff like from like when my parents were growing up, like the '80s and even some of the '70s, but all those like bands like I don't know, like I like some of their songs. Some of their songs, it's like not the best. I don't know. For right now, the only thing that comes to mind, I guess, is maybe Metallica for favorite band of all time. But that's all I can really think of. There's a lot of others, but I just don't know. I like a lot of Metallica songs.
Okay, nice, yeah.
Just picking apart kind of like each of the instruments into it.
Enter the Sandman, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of the others, I guess I could also say Avenged Sevenfold is pretty good.
Okay, yeah. Or is it Enter Sandman?
What?
Is it Enter the Sandman or Enter Sandman?
Enter Sandman.
Oh, okay. Is that the name of the album or is that the name of the song?
The song.
Because I don't care. I don't know. What album's that from?
I don't even know.
I
But
haven't listened to much yet.
yeah. I don't like I listen to some rock, but it really depends on the mood.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to pick a favorite band of all time.
Right, yeah.
It depends on the mood. There's a lot of good bands from like when my parents were growing up that I like 80s and 70s. But it's just, I guess, difficult to really hone down on one.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite TV show then? Oh my god, pick a perk, bro.
It's gonna
pick a perk, please. Pick the perk first.
It's gonna come off as odd, but I didn't really watch a lot of
TV.
Like TV shows growing up. Like yes,
that's more common for like Zoomers though. I think.
Well,
because they have by a certain point you get the internet. You just watch YouTube most of the time. That's what I did. Yeah.
But for me, it was more like.
I bet you watched like My Little Pony.
No, I never did. Thank goodness. Like it would come on maybe after a show, and then I'd just immediately
skip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Change channel. Turn off. Yeah.
But
do anything but watch it.
Yeah. Is there?
You didn't watch like cartoons. You didn't watch like Jimmy Neutron and shit.
I guess I did, but I don't know. You said TV show, so it doesn't have to be a cartoon.
That's a television show though.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't assume that you watch like like adult TV shows. Like I don't think you've ever watched like a Mad Men or something.
Actually, I do. I would say I know it's probably all staged. I know it probably is.
You probably watch some of Breaking Bad though, right?
Some, but like maybe not even all season 1. But personally, I would say my favorite TV show is probably Mountain Men.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say fucking Chris Hansen's stupid
No.
show. Yeah.
No.
Because you were like obsessed with. You were like just watching clips of it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to see them get caught. I guess it's part of like taking my psychology class currently.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Chris Hansen. Yeah.
Trying to understand how they think it's right.
Yeah.
In a world that obviously tells them it's wrong.
Yeah.
To me, I find that honestly pretty interesting. Like as they try and justify themselves, I'm trying to figure out like what is like going on.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes they mention if it's like stuff in the past. Sometimes they just say it just came up. But I feel like it's always something in the past that made them do it. Like it just kind of interests me in that aspect.
Why don't you give me a slice? I'll let the charges go if you give me some pizza.
Oh yeah, that one. It's not even real, but it's like it's based off an episode where this guy brought pizza over and he offered Chris Hansen a slice, which is hilarious.
Oh man,
that you would just do that.
Yeah, it's not good. It's just no good. It's not good at all.
Yeah, it's like I would drop all the charges if you gave me a slice of that. It's like obviously he wouldn't in real life, but
okay. So what show did you actually say? They say what, MythBusters?
No, Mountain Men.
Mountain Men. What is that?
Is that
one of those reality shows?
Kind of.
Is it like Bear Grylls or something, like survival?
Not really. So it's like it follows a bunch of these different people over different.
Is it like
seasons.
a History Channel show or something?
It might have been. I haven't watched it in forever, but I used to watch it all the time with my dad.
Yeah.
And so it just follows like these guys, occasionally women, majority it was guys, that were out, like in the mountains where it might have been like they had a house up there, or it could have just been like a cabin they would go to occasionally.
Yeah.
And they would film like living off the land basically, as best as you kind of can. But for me, it was interesting, like just seeing people try and do that.
Yeah.
And just also seeing like the environments they live in. I'm like, one day I want to live in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
And I hope to eventually.
It's good. A little motivation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But, yeah, that's what I'd say is probably my favorite TV show.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. And then like I don't know, have you ever been into plays or anything? I mean, that's a little more niche, but like theater musicals. Did you ever do one in school or anything like that, or?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Only once in elementary school. It was
okay.
5th grade.
Yeah.
Was it? Or was it 4th? It was 5th. No, 4th. Yeah, it was 4th. And since, I'm in SoCal, so of course we're doing the Gold Rush. It was a play for Gold Dust or Bust was what it was called.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about that I found interesting is, you couldn't always, but I would eat lunch in the classroom. And at one point, the teachers were having like a little, like my teacher and one other teacher that was helping put on the play was having kids in for auditions for like the opening, like, singing.
Yeah.
My voice right now is not good for singing, I'll admit. But I was in there eating, and they offered me to come up and try and sing. They gave me the lines. I sang it out. And then, they had asked me if I want, because they said I did very well, and they wanted me to sing for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I somehow ended up, my parents, of course, loved that. They're like, oh boy, he's going to be... And I was set up for the first person to come out and sing.
Nice.
I kind of remember the lines. I don't fully. And even though I kind of remember, I'm no way I'm singing it because it makes me cringe just remembering that. I remember the night of the play. I was in my classroom. I was playing with my person sitting next to me. They had this mini stapler.
Okay.
And I was playing with it, and I put a staple through my thumb.
Oh, why?
Because I was stupid.
Okay.
I was a 4th grader. I was playing with a stapler.
Oh.
My thumb right over the little thing with a staple, and I just pressed on the back of it and put it through my thumb. So I had to...
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah, it was
it sounds
very...
like a good way to pass the time, I guess.
Yeah, just waiting for it to start. I guess it could be seen as anxiety, but it wasn't really anxious at that time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, I don't know. But, that was one of the things I guess I did. Then my mom thought it would be a good idea with one of my friends from elementary school to put me in a acting/play thing.
Oh, okay.
For like a summer camp thing. It was very boring. I hated it.
Yeah.
Never again. But we had to do this Star Wars kind of play. I don't even remember. It was, I think, of the first one. I was C-3PO. I hated it. And we had to do a dance to Soulja Boy.
Okay. What?
I hated it.
Dude, no.
My friend got off lucky. He had barely anything to do with it. He was just an extra. I got put up front. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
And then I remember one time for my birthday, I was going to the local mall because I wanted to go to Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For my birthday, dinner. But we got freaking approached by this, white woman and her husband.
Oh, okay.
And they gave us, this business card because, my hair is, auburn in color. So it's, it depends on how the sun hits it. And also, I guess it's weird. It kind of changes with the seasons, which is kind of weird.
What's the twist? The business card was it linked you to a Diddy party, and then you went to a freak off, yeah.
No, what it was for is for acting in commercials.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, so you got an offer to
yes, because they wanted
that sounds bad.
Quote
though,
unquote redheaded children.
Yeah. Oh.
I was
Epstein.
No, but what was interesting is that I was too young, so I didn't know what, but I knew from the acting stuff. I was
Yeah.
But my parents shut that down. I'm very glad they did because also things they could have done it. They could have made money.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. But they wanted me to, and if you do that, then you're not really gonna have a normal childhood. They wanted me to have one.
Yeah.
And it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, could you like autistically memorize any line that was given to you?
No,
No.
but it's probably a good thing because I probably would over time I became more and more socially awkward.
Oh, okay.
Probably thanks to autism.
Well, I might have given you confidence to be an actor. Then you could just be like, you could just block out all your actual emotions and just like play the role in anything in life. Use that to your advantage.
No, because I still, I guess, had some self dignity. I guess. No.
Yeah, but you can weaponize it and you can use it to to get ahead in life.
Yeah, but why would I try?
For the opportunities it would allow you. It's like maybe you could have gone to fucking UCLA or something.
Yeah, but an acting major just.
Not acting major though, necessarily. You could
What,
just do
theater major?
You could do like what some of the people do, and they just get a regular degree, and then they just in case, and then they do acting on the side, and then they commit to it fully when they get a really big gig or something, and then like a lot of actors have that where they like studied like fucking general business or whatever, business administration, and then they committed to acting full time when they were able to turn it into a full career or whatever.
I guess, but I would never want to do it. Like acting, no. I learned to despise, especially after that like summer camp, like the acting thing when you see C-3PO. I would never do that again.
Yeah.
I made an active point of never wanting to do that again.
Okay, so what about like any creative or like artistic pursuit in general? Like, is there anything that would appeal to you?
Like what?
I don't know, just like anything. Like whenever if you let's say you become like a game warden, you live in like rural Montana or something. It's like, are you still gonna try to do something on the side, like maybe take up like fucking watercolors or some shit, or any kind of like like creative outlet?
Well, I tried painting in elementary school and stuff like that, doing like art stuff. I could not. I'm not an artist.
Oh, you're not artistically inclined?
No, I am an autist, but
okay. Yeah,
not an artist.
There's a letter difference there. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently
Makes a big distinction. Yeah.
Yeah, and so with that, if anything, I might do like I guess writing more. Probably writing about like the wilderness that I work in.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
And how like it's affected by the animals, or maybe a fictional story.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty interesting, but that might be the only kind of pursuit. And I guess you could say potentially someone might say hunting is an art.
Have you ever played that game Firewatch where you play as the guy in the fire tower?
Me? No. I haven't.
Yeah.
But I've heard that it's, it starts like that, but apparently it turns into like a horror kind of.
Yeah, you could write something fucked up like that. Like maybe there's like fucking zombies and shit, like in the woods,
Maybe.
Zombie animals, yeah, zombie bear, yeah.
I would like to keep it kind of like in that, because honestly, if you really think about it, like the idea of zombies is interesting, because you got, I forget what the name of the fungus is that takes over like insects' minds, but
yeah, the real one, the ants or whatever.
Yeah, like ants and like sometimes bees or whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently the bees are pretty popular with it because then, at least scientists, because then they take it back to their nest, and then when they die, it just infects everything.
What about fent zombies?
No, I don't care, because that's just like they're killing their brain cells. So
yeah.
They're not like thinking anymore. They're not pursuing much of anything.
Yeah. Well, so you're like, and you're like a no alcohol, no drug guy, right?
No, and it stems from, I guess the whole, like, I guess my version of like, don't do drugs, like say no. But I guess back in the day it would have been called DARE.
Oh yeah, the DARE program.
What my parents grew up with.
Yeah, well I had that too, I remember that.
I didn't, but for me, that kind of impacted me, but then also, finally from my parents telling me about my birth mom and knowing that she was on meth when I was in the womb.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it did give me a bit of incentive to know that I am like going to be predispositioned to be addicted to that kind of stuff if I try it. And so I know, like, for the whole thing, I guess with meth, it's like not even once, but for me, it's like with anything, not even once.
Yeah.
Because that can like easily become a problem.
Yeah, I remember when I was in elementary school, I used to live in Texas and South Texas, and they used to have this the fucking DARE presentations, and they always had like huffing glue was one of the drugs. And it was always like these like weird pictures of like kids like fucking like holding like brown paper bags up to their faces and just like fucking breathing, and I was like little videos and stuff like that too. And I remember that was like the only one that was like I used to be scared as like a little kid that I would like do that because it looked like kind of like I don't know. It looked like it might be like it might like smell good or something. Because I used to be like obsessed with like glue sticks. I used to like smell the glue sticks and shit, and like smell just like the regular Elmer's glue. So I was afraid that I would become like a glue huffer or something because all the fucking presentations. I used to be really paranoid about that for some reason, but I never did it. So it's like, but I don't know, fucking like huffing glue. It's like the worst shit. It's like not even like that like kills your brain cells. It doesn't even like get you high or anything. It's like literally the high is just like the feeling of your fucking brain cells dying.
But you don't want to talk about how the like poor African kids get high?
Oh, the Jenkum?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta explain what that is again. I don't remember.
So
Is it shit? Is that what it is?
it's basically it's like fermented human feces. So they
Okay.
like put it in like they make like kind of like crap in like a plastic water bottle and leave it out in the sun for I
Oh,
think like
God.
3 weeks.
Okay.
And for a while, I have no clue why they would worry too much about it. But like in the U.S.,
They were afraid that they was gonna get imported here somehow.
no, parents heard about this and then they were worried. So my kid could be making drugs and like in the house because of this, and so there's a total freak out, which I find very funny.
Like
It's
a
like
moral panic.
let's be honest, like it makes sense out there in like the poor parts of Africa because they don't have access to anything. Who's bringing drugs like to their village when they can't afford it?
Yeah, there's no economic reason to do that.
Yeah.
It's not like South America or some shit.
I don't
where
think anyone
they
here
always
is.
pay top dollar for it. Yeah.
Yeah, people here aren't gonna be willingly like going out and just trying to mess around
Yeah.
with that. Like we're I guess in the U.S. privileged enough to have like real hardcore drugs,
Right. Yeah.
which is also probably a problem. But and at least you're not getting sick from all.
Yeah, you should be
human feces.
grateful for all of it. Yeah.
Kinda.
You take Addies, don't you? You should be grateful you get free drugs, bro.
Well, I'm not taking them like, trying to take them when I'm not supposed to. I take them only when I need to, and it's harmed my memory. So I've taken it less and less. I only take it when I like actually have to. So if I have like a midterm or a final, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really don't touch that stuff because it isn't a meth. It's like it is an amphetamine. It's a like lower class amphetamine. So it's considered a D class, which means it's not very potent, but
Yeah.
it's not going to do a whole lot. But it helps me focus.
Right.
But I don't need it necessarily all the time. I used to take it like day after day because my mom wanted me to, but I don't need it day after day.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement for me. Like, does it help in any way? Not necessarily, but
So you'd never try weed?
oh no.
No.
Honestly, I
Are you
wouldn't.
scared of it?
Well, also, like even edibles, I wouldn't because they last too long and I don't trust it. But even smoking, like I would not be able to because the scent of the smoke of like marijuana, like it makes me nauseous.
Yeah.
I've tried to escape it sometimes in SoCal.
What about tobacco? What about cigars?
That scent I can tolerate
Okay.
because my grandpa, he would smoke a lot around when I was younger. And then my dad occasionally will with him. But with weed, multiple times when I was like younger, I would just not be able to handle the smoke and I would vomit.
Oh,
because of
okay.
it.
Yeah. What do you not trust about edibles?
They last too long.
So.
And also, I could become addicted, and I don't want to do that.
Oh yeah. What, you think you're prone to addiction?
Because of my mom doing meth, like basically, the harder the drugs that like your parents do in the womb, the more likely you can become to be addicted to stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
My brother's mom was drinking, so the fact that he has basically already got a drinking problem
Oh. Yeah.
at 18 is already sad, but
Yeah.
it just shows how quickly that can be a problem. And heck, he even had a problem with like vapes and stuff.
Yeah.
Where he would like even be so down bad to the point where he would like see people will drop a vape or maybe lose it
Yeah.
on the ground that's been sitting there for like a few like days
Oh. Yeah.
because nobody wants to pick it up,
Ugh.
and he would like pick those up and still take hits off them. I'm like, what are you doing?
It's fucking gross, dude.
I know, but so that's just another warning. Like knowing it's someone so close to me, but who was supposedly, from what I was told, not supposed to be able to be as addicted to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you got that quickly addicted to that stuff, like I'm just like, yeah, there's no way in heck I'm even going near that.
Understandable, yeah. So yeah, but even if so, like, how about this? Like, if that wasn't an element, would you still try it or no?
I don't know. Like, what benefit does it give my life?
It's just one of those like goofy things some people do, I guess. Just to try it or whatever.
I know, but I don't need to spend money on it. I could spend that on other things. Like, I like guns. I would rather spend that money instead of buying it on alcohol and weed and stuff. I'd rather spend that on like I love shooting revolvers. So
Yeah,
but 357 ammo is so expensive. It's like, you know, $50-$40 around depending on where you're getting it. So it's like I could spend that on that and go have fun at the range for a little bit.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. I don't know. It's like those memorable experiences or whatever that people usually do in like their 20s, like when they're experimenting or whatever, just to say that they did it. And then like when they're in their 30s, they either like continue doing it, maybe like socially responsibly, or they get like addicted or whatever, or they just like don't never do it again. It's like a one-time thing. But it's like that. It's like, you know, you kind of, for some people, it's like you drink a lot in college or whatever, so you learn how to do it, and then by the time you hit like your 30s, you're drinking normally. You know, you're having like a glass of red wine with dinner or whatever. Like you learn how to appreciate it better when you're older.
I guess
you got to acquire that taste a little bit, though. You kind of have to play around with it within reason. You know, you just have to like experiment with it. But that's only for the people who are interested. But it's just I don't know. People like to just feel good, I guess. So they just like sensations. It's a sensual thing in the sense that it appeals to the senses. And that's just very, that's universal. It's like, people are animals at the end of the day. They still enjoy just weird shit like that. They like to trip out or whatever,
Well,
they used to do it in the ancient times. They used to think it was, them communicating with like the gods or whatever.
Yeah.
In Greece and everything. They were just high as fuck, That's
and
the type
gay.
of yeah, well, that's the type of shit they do though, To get those mind-altering experiences, it's to kind of gain a new perspective, It's kind of like to broaden your horizons a little bit. That's why people do it. It's a little adventure, There's not much adventure people can have anymore these days either.
Well, you can just go outside, go hiking.
Everything's been discovered though, and it's going to be a while before technology gets to the point where we could go to space.
It's been discovered by other people, but has it been discovered by you?
I don't know, because everything's become like just an Instagram fucking background,
But that's not the same as being there.
Yeah.
Like the Grand Canyon, yes, you can see it. It's one of those things where you really don't have to go multiple times unless you really fall in love with the park. But it's one of those things that you have to see in person. The scale of it is not really portrayed very well in camera.
You don't think things like the national park system and everything have like commodified like the outdoors to the point where there's no more like magic to it anymore? There's no more spontaneity. There's no more like adventure,
I'm saying yes, the national parks make it beautiful. Yeah. They highlight those beautiful spots, but sometimes the most beautiful things aren't what the national parks highlight.
Okay.
Just go up. Honestly, I know you shouldn't do this, but I've done it in the past. Is if you go on out like maybe like hiking on like maybe trail, maybe it's like a hiking trail.
Yeah.
But it's like one trail and there's not much there after. I would say what I've done is go out hiking on this trail and then just at some point, like, maybe as long as I know my way around a compass, which I do, and I can figure out exactly where I am, just kind of make mental notes and maybe write down in a journal, basically, how far I'm going out, but just go off that trail and I just walk off alone.
Yeah.
Now I'm going in a relatively safe area. I'm not going out like where we are currently, where I could at a certain time be near a bear or something.
Yeah.
I'm going out near some place where, maybe the worst encounter, I guess it's still not the best idea, but is a mountain lion.
Oh, okay, great.
So it's not
so much better, yeah, but yeah.
It's not as good, but the thing with mountain lions is that if you get loud and tall, they are kind of pussies and they will.
Okay, yeah.
So the whole thing with them is like if you get loud and kind of make yourself bigger than you are, they don't like it too much. Just they've been told, and I know I've seen people use that to great success.
Right.
Bears, if they're pissed off, they really don't care. You can do whatever. The main way to stop them is, with firepower, like a gun. But, some places don't want you doing that, so they use bear spray. But I'll keep it on me if I have to. But I'd like to have a secondary backup source for protection.
Yeah, understandable, yeah. I mean, why fuck around with stuff like that?
Because even if let's say a bear's charging at me.
Yeah.
That thing's like what? Like 600 pounds?
Yeah.
Or 500? I can spray that. That thing's still got momentum. It's still coming at me. I could still be toppled over by that thing.
Yeah.
If I shoot that thing, it's gonna, the force of the round entering the animal will slow it down or sometimes just stop it depending on where you hit it.
Yeah.
Like when I remember my first time hunting, there was like a deer. I was out in the forest and deer was just kind of walking along, but it was pretty slow.
Yeah.
Now, I was trying to aim for some of the major organs. But I think when I looked, I hit it in its like spine as it was walking.
Okay.
But I think the shot, like it obviously expanded and it probably hit some organs on the way. But I think also the spine shattering probably, like when you break bones occasionally at like high velocity, those bones can go and pierce like arteries and all that.
Yeah.
Organs, and I think it did help with that. But that thing dropped like a sack of potatoes or a sack of bricks immediately, and it was dead, like right there.
Okay.
And that's just the power of like a firearm that like a spray might disorient an animal.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna stop it immediately, and that's what I need if I'm trying to protect myself. Even like elk can kind of get violent, but like a moose can be very violent. Like people are like, oh, it just eats plants, it's gonna be fun. No, those things are violent animals if you like piss them off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're more people die from like moose than bears.
Not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. But
and it is a problem.
Yeah.
People will go up to it and it's like, oh look, it's like a giant cow. Except it's got a lot more mass behind it. And with the mass, along with the mass, it's got violent tendencies. You approach its territory.
Aggressive nature, yeah.
Like, for some reason, I don't fully know. If you look at it wrong, apparently they can just, charge you, and they don't really stop.
Yeah.
Like, you can try and run, but they're faster than you.
Yeah.
You can try and swim, but they're going to swim faster than you.
Right.
There's really not much you can do to get away from them. Like, play dead, but, if it steps on you, it's not too good. They're not very curious like bears.
Yeah.
Like, when they're mad, they're mad. It's like the cartoon crap of, like, bulls seeing red. They'll continue to charge it until the red disappears.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why, I'd trust a handgun.
Right, yeah.
And, my grandpa, he says for, like, backpacking, he would trust a 357. I'm like, yeah, I can see that, but I'd rather have a bit more insurance with a 44 Magnum.
Right.
And, a lot of people, they carry, like, semi-auto handguns today. You see a lot of people occasionally in backpacking, they'll carry, like, a 10mm handgun.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of moving parts to that. And I'm with my grandpa. I agree. Like, revolvers are simple, but they're super reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't need a whole lot of care. Very minimal, in fact. But you do that, they'll last basically forever.
Right.
And so I would trust that because they will function under any, like, circumstance, like rain, snow. You're going to struggle to make it, like, not fire.
Yeah.
At least unless you're, like, really trying to make it not fire.
Right.
But just for any circumstance, like, if I fell in, like, the mud, let's say, like, I was trying to, like, hike and I fell in the mud and my gun got a bunch of mud in it, like a revolver.
Yeah.
I can guarantee it's still probably going to fire.
Right. What if that mud was shit?
It would probably stink and it would suck, but it's still fire.
Yeah.
But the problem with some semi-auto guns should work just fine, but sometimes, like, if I'm trying to get off multiple shots at once, it might shoot once, and then the slide might get held back, or there might be a problem with feeding.
Gotcha.
That a revolver just doesn't have. As long as those things are lined up, and it's super simple, and it almost always does. I've seen torture tests with the revolvers. They function a lot better.
Yeah.
I would trust that for my life than
Nice.
semi-auto. Now, for self-defense, I guess you can understand that. It's good for self-defense for, like a handgun, like semi-auto.
Yeah.
For, like, basically people.
Right.
And, like, home defense. But still, you could still use a revolver to great success.
What kind of phone do you have, by the way?
I have an iPhone 15.
How good is its camera?
It's all right, but it's good as long as you can do the wider shots is pretty good, and you can do you can do 0.5.
Okay.
For the zoom, which zooms out, and then you can do 1. But the more you zoom in, that I've noticed, obviously with any iPhone, they're not the best cameras, so it's gonna get more grainy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
But at one point, I had a camera of my own.
Oh, nice.
When my family went on a trip to Ireland and the UK.
Did it take video or just pictures?
I could do both.
Okay,
I could do anything. But my problem with it is, I took all these great photos on the trips, all these cathedrals. Not that I lost the photos.
You can't retrieve them?
No, it's that on the way back home, it's in a black bag, and we took an Uber to get back to our house.
Oh, okay.
And so I think it was left in the back of his car.
Oh, you completely lost the camera?
And my dad was certain that I had brought it in the house and just misplaced it. I told him to call the Uber guy and ask him if he could bring it back. My dad just kept sort of telling me, nah, you just put it down somewhere in the house. Definitely.
Oh, damn, that fucking sucks.
And so I lost all those photos.
Wow.
And I had spent probably on lenses and all that shit for the camera, around $5,000, because lenses can be expensive.
Oh, that's bullshit. That fucking sucks.
I brought some of my, not the nicest lenses that I had, but after those I just sold the lenses because I didn't want to buy a camera again.
Yeah.
But it's because that's a lot of money, and I wanted to put that towards other stuff. So I was getting older, but I wish I had those photos and that camera still.
But yeah, does your phone have a lot of free storage on it?
I haven't had any problems with it yet.
Okay, yeah. Because what I'm thinking is, I want to do that thing I was telling you about earlier. I want to do that for the channel, maybe. We could just literally record our laptop screen side by side with the phone, and we could just do. You could get the ROM that I showed you. We could get the thing. We could play. What is it called? Pokemon Red versus Leaf Green. You know what I mean? We could both compete to see who gets to the end of the game first. It's just a vanilla playthrough, and then if we do that, we could also do the other one with all the rules after, if we get through that one. But I'm thinking that we could expand a little bit into gaming on the channel and throw something like that in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be good. And maybe we could even do it where it's you gotta play as you gotta pick the starter that's on the title of the game too. So it's I would probably I would do Charmander. You could do Bulbasaur.
Oh God.
Why you don't want to do that?
Fucking leaf types are. Out of the starters, the grass types are the freaking worst.
Okay, what do you think? Equal playing field and just both pick Charmander?
Well, we could do that, or I would just say Squirtle instead.
Why? Because he's the mediocre one?
Well,
he's the middle option?
I guess.
Yeah.
Obviously Charizard's the best, but in the end, the grass types just have more weaknesses.
Yeah.
And not a lot of strengths.
Yeah, we would probably have to pick the same. Yeah, you pick the same starter, and then whatever happens from there happens, I guess. Unless you have a specific strategy in mind, but yeah. But you think the objective answer is just Squirtle because it's the most neutral?
Well, no, I was saying if you were doing instead of doing Bulbasaur, if I had to, and you did Charmander, I'd have to do
so you would pick Squirtle, just not Bulbasaur.
Yeah, or I'd pick
Yeah.
Charmander.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it would be interesting to potentially see about the whole Kaizo Ironmon.
Yeah, what tell me more about that.
Actually, hold on. I want to look at the rules because I want to make sure I'm getting my facts straight.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, that's the one with all it's really fucked up rules, right?
Yeah, it's
Super
really
strict.
brutal.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we gotta do a trial run before we fucking just go deep end into the whole thing. That sounds pretty intense.
All right. Okay.
All right, what'd you find out?
Okay, so it randomizes the game. So all Pokemon movesets and items are randomized.
Okay,
so
great.
when you go out and find items, they're random. And with trainer and wild Pokemon levels have been increased by 50%.
Okay.
It's going to be harder. For every route, you can only catch or kill one Pokemon per route.
Sounds like it fucking sucks, bro.
It's permadeath, so once your Pokemon faints, you must release or store it. No exceptions.
Okay.
Once all party Pokemon have fainted, your run is over. You must restart. You can't use shops.
Okay.
And you have a random starter.
Yeah.
And then there's no legendaries and all that. But, there's certain, like, banned items like Lucky Eggs and Sacred Ash. But, yeah. There's other rules. But, yeah, there's a lot of... Those are the basic ones.
Okay.
So there's a lot of rules. And it just, it'd be a fun thing that you could see who can survive the longest.
I mean, that sounds more like a fucking test of patience than anything else, bro. I'd probably play like 15 minutes and then like rage quit.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could handle that, bro.
I've watched this YouTuber / Twitch streamer, Point Crow. He would like every day he'd do a round of that.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
He finally beat it, but it was like
damn.
He'd do it every day. So
He'd do it in like small doses, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like I think his try was in like somewhere in like the high 5,000s.
God damn.
To finally beat it.
Jesus Christ.
Because it's all luck of the draw, basically.
Yeah. Which sounds fucked.
You just gotta pray for the RNG
like
gods.
So fucked.
Yeah, but it's a challenge.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Or you could just simplify it and just do something kind of like, I guess, pussy shit where it's just like once your Pokemon dies, you have to release it.
What the hell? No, that's retarded, dude.
What?
That's stupid. No, that's just, why would that be a rule?
But it adds like a reason to not die. Or to not let your Pokemon die. You'd have to swap it out.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. Nah, I was playing a little bit of it though. I got up to Misty. I couldn't beat her though because my characters, I only had like level 25 Charmeleon and like level 15 Pikachu. It was like the only two good Pokemon I had. And yeah, that sucks in the beginning because your only options for your party are like fucking Pidgey and like Rattata and all the like the awful like the garbage Pokemon, and then you grind it out to like train them all up, and then they're like shitty Pokemon, so you're like stuck with shitty Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and then you gotta like restart once you start finding the good ones. Then you gotta like stop what you're doing. You gotta go on this whole side quest, basic self-made side quest just to grind up the good ones. That takes forever.
But that's with all Pokemon.
Yeah. And then the point, like the battle experience points, like the experience points you accumulate in battles with other trainers versus the XP that you get in the wild when you're just fighting random Pokemon in tall grass and shit. It's like so disproportionate too. It's bullshit.
I guess
it takes so much longer to just sit in the grass and grind it out. That's why the thing has like a thing that you could just like speed it up with. So we'd probably just, as a rule, we'd both just allow ourselves to use that for the grinding process. Because otherwise we'd just be there forever. I don't think that's doable. Because even with that, it takes a while, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like for me, I never played any of the old games. Like the first Pokemon game I ever did was Y.
Oh, okay. Not even Diamond and Pearl and Platinum?
No.
That was the first one.
Not even the remake.
Oh. Damn.
I've done Y. What is it? Y. Omega Ruby.
Yeah.
And then I think I went to Sword and then Arceus.
Do you know the history of Pokemon? Like, what the first game was? First generation?
Well, I know about the first generation, but, I don't know the name of the game.
Oh, you don't know? You don't know?
No.
It's just Pokemon Red and Blue. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It came out in 1996. And Pokemon is short for Pocket Monsters in Japanese.
Yes,
Yeah, you know that? Okay.
I know that.
Yeah, okay.
I know Red and Blue, and I don't know if that's the first gen or what.
Have you heard of Yellow?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one where, it's Pikachu, and it comes with, like, a bunch of extra shit. It's like a Tamagotchi. It's like a digital pet. Like, you got to take care of his, like, his needs and his stats, too. You have, like, a friendship bar with him.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Sounds like freaking Nintendo.
And the rival, Gary, has an Eevee, and then he just evolves it into something, like, random, I think, depending on what the playthrough.
Oh, so it's basically, what the modern version of that is Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
Oh, yeah. They remade it, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like how, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is, the new
Oh, okay, gotcha.
version of the old ones.
Hey, do you ever play any of the Mystery Dungeon games? The spin-offs?
I think...
Where they all talk and shit?
I think there was the first one.
Yeah.
And it fell into the same category as fucking, Paper Mario. I just couldn't fucking do it.
Why? You just didn't care?
I just didn't like it. It didn't feel right.
It's too niche, yeah. It's too different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like really RPG heavy. Well, I mean, I guess that's what Pokemon is, but it's like really story based and like it's just it's like kind of almost like an AU or something. Like it's like completely removed from the traditional, whatever aspects of the series. completely different gameplay, like completely different setting, completely different tone, theme, story, all that type of shit. You know, people get used to people like the Pokemon formula of just like, you know, going around a random you know, region of the land and just catching as many of the fucking monsters as you can, and you know,
Yeah.
updating the Pokédex, fucking getting the gym badges, you know, fighting other trainers, evolving shit, you know, maxing out stats.
No.
Fucking with like move sets, you know, it's like it doesn't have any of that.
I don't think you ever fucked around with Pokemon Arceus, but the one thing, like, I guess it keeps you playing, but eventually it just gets so boring. I haven't really finished the game because you have to complete the Pokédex, but I think in order to complete it, you have to complete these objectives.
Okay.
And you got to complete 10 of them.
Oh yeah.
To complete this Pokemon's like Pokédex entry, and in order to, I guess, finish the game and meet Arceus, you have to get all those Pokemons with all 10 of their stuff. And I'm like, no.
Sounds like a little much.
Yeah, and so I haven't done that, but yeah, just really, I guess it's supposed to encourage you to keep playing.
Yeah.
And it was also one of those things where on the thing it said, it has this many hours of gameplay. And I guess that really helps you pad it up if you're not.
Yeah.
If most of it's just monotonous tasks. But that's what I like when I was playing, like, you know, Y and Omega Ruby. It's just, you know, the classic kind of formula.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there's the classic formula that I found interesting, kind of like Sword, I guess. Oh, Sword and Shield. That it takes that, but there's some open like world. Now I think it's good. Like unlike Arceus, where it's like all open world, I think it's a good idea to have it like somewhat closed, like semi.
Yeah.
Where it's okay to have some open areas. I think that adds some unique aspect to the games.
Yeah.
But when you have it all open world, then you kind of lose track of what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
But with like Sword and Shield, which I played Sword, I think they did a good job with that.
Right.
Of balancing some of these open areas and some of the more story-driven parts.
Nice.
Because as you would go across the story, you'd find these open areas right before you get to the next part of the story. So you could, you know, like find this open area and grind kind of before, instead of having to like keep staying on this like route and running back and forth in the grass to find new Pokemon or kill them.
Did you ever watch the Pokemon movie with Mewtwo? Mew and Mewtwo?
Back in the day, I did.
Yeah.
And then...
That was the one where they made the evil clones of them.
Yeah.
Made them fight, yeah.
And then I also remember at one point I was at my local library, and, you know, I was young. I was like, oh, Pokemon's awesome. And, you know, it was like elementary school. And I found, like, they did, like, these books that you can, like, buy. It's like, you know, people don't need these books anymore. You give them to the library, and then they'll sell them. So the library gets a profit, and it makes some money.
Yeah.
To keep stuff going. But it was, I guess, the first time, I guess it was like I don't know, it was like, I don't even know what the real definition of manga is.
Just Japanese comic books.
I guess, but it wasn't in Japanese. It was like in English, but it was like
just like a westernized manga.
Yeah, I wonder if I could find. But it was like all about like kind of like the story behind like Regigigas.
Oh, okay, like Pokemon lore.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
It was like story, and I read through that. Now, I remember first time reading through it, I had no idea because I'd never read one before.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, you know, like reading it like left to right.
Oh, okay.
Like, this doesn't make sense.
Reading it backwards, yeah.
Yeah, even the like pictures in it just didn't make sense. So it's like,
Did you figure it out or no? Did you read the whole thing backwards?
No, I eventually figured it out.
Okay, yeah.
And then I read through it and was like, this makes sense now.
Nice, yeah.
I am uncertain if this is actually it. It might be. But I remember it in thing was like talking. It was like met Regigigas, and then it had the other, you know, like Regice, Registeel, and all that.
Yeah.
I can't exactly. I think. I don't know if this is exactly what it was. Oh well. I can't fully tell if it's what it is. It's been so long since I read that.
All right.
But
it was good, or
I don't know. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Did I understand where it was coming from? No, because I did not play the game it was based off.
oh, okay.
It was based off of like Diamond and Pearl, which I had not played,
Yeah.
so I had no idea.
Okay.
Basically, just jumping into something I had no clue about.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it could be fun sometimes, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you have a favorite Pokemon game though? If you had to pick one, narrow it down to just a single choice.
Honestly, if my 3DS like wasn't broken,
Oh, it broke.
yeah,
What'd you do to it?
no, because it was shared between me and my brother, and he broke it. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
rest in peace, 3DS. But if I could, I don't know. But I want to go back and do like. I think Y I enjoyed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Even the soundtrack for Y, it still sticks with me. I found myself going back and listening to it every once in a while.
Yeah.
More so than Ruby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's another good thing we could do on the channel too. Once you get your fucking Switch like charged, I could just turn the camera around and like record too, so we have a little bit of a thing in the background. Because I'm assuming most people would just like listen to this over watching it. I don't think there's anything to really watch, but if we needed a visual element, we could just play like Mario Kart and shit, and like record it on the screen.
Yeah.
That way, there's a visual element if people want it. They, it doesn't need to be like super quality. I kind of like those videos too. Like I still watch stuff like that where it's like a let's play that some just like random schmuck like recorded.
Yeah, while they're talking about something.
Or just like recorded with their fucking like phone or something. It's just the screen. It's not even like a screen capture or anything. It's not even like good quality. It's just some guy pointing his camera at his TV in like the middle of the night, and it's just all like like washed out and everything. But it's like there's something kind of like relaxing about that because that's just actually what it looks like.
Yeah, it's the human aspect of it.
Yeah, I like shit like that. I like chill kind of homebrew kind of like that's like my like YouTube preference. They don't like have a lot of channels like that anymore because there's too much money in it now, and there's just too many people competing. There's such an oversaturated market for everything on YouTube now that like that original kind of like amateur hour like homebrew stuff gets lost.
Yeah,
I don't have much of it anymore, and that's like my favorite shit. So it needs to have texture. It's like that's why some people like listening to vinyl over actual records or CDs. It's not just to be different or whatever, to be cool. It's like there's a tangible physical property to it, an element to that enhances your experience of it. It adds to the overall. It's not just listening to a song and everything. It's listening to the crackle. It's it's the grooves. It's like the ritual of like putting it into the record player and putting the needle on and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all that type of shit. That's what I like about like old YouTube too, and that's the kind of stuff that I want to make on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff I enjoy watching the most. So I like it's like that's the niche. That's the niche I'm going for or whatever. That's what I enjoy.
What is it? You're gonna try and go for like what is it? Channel Awesome or what is it?
What?
I forget.
Nostalgia Critic?
Yeah, Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah, I used to watch him actually. Yeah, I used to watch Angry Video Game Nerd too. Yeah, they're pretty good. I like their reviews. I like the movie reviews, but he did a lot of editing too. Yeah, it was nice. It was good for the time, and it's still funny. Like I like some of the reviews still. I learned a lot about a lot of like old like '90s like kids movies, like bad ones that weren't good at all. Like that didn't like take off. They were trying to be like franchises, and they just never worked. There was the one that was like an environmental movie or something. It was really cringy, but yeah. We could also do that. I mean, we could do anything with this shit. We could just like react to like random YouTube videos and do like watch alongs and stuff or like commentaries, followed by maybe like we could do like they did Mystery Science Theater 3000, where it's like just the people watching fucking bad movies and commenting on them. It's like a watch along thing. Like, we could just do that too. I mean, it's like there's a lot of options.
The only problem that we got to watch out for is if you do that, then you got to watch out for copyright stuff.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know if it matters as much if you're not monetized though. If you're just doing it for the love of the game or whatever, you know what I mean?
Still, but they could. I don't even know. They could take down your video, but I don't know if I don't think there's the strike system. So If the strike system was involved, then that would be a problem because you do 3 strikes and then your channel's gone.
Yeah.
Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah, I forgot about the politics of all that bullshit.
So, yeah, and then also you have to watch about what you talk about because if you don't watch, then you can get your channel taken away.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's gonna be age restricted.
Yeah. My
2-year-old with brain rot can't watch me talk about race wars and problems in the U.S.
God. Yeah. I do have But do you listen to podcasts? I don't know. Are you like a podcast guy at all, or?
I do occasionally.
Yeah. Like what?
So I
like more informative, I would assume.
Yeah. So
maybe like a gun podcast or something.
A group that does some stuff like that. So there's this. They do some jokes, but they also talk about like gun laws and stuff in the U.S. It's the Unsubscribed podcast.
Oh, okay.
It's got some people. One of the people I watch even on YouTube is Brandon Herrera.
Yeah. He's good.
But yeah, and then the one that I'm.
Why?
Why? But another one that I watch is of course the Joe Rogan Experience. Right. But yeah, I'm gonna take a little break.
Okay. You going to bed or you just taking a piss or something? Or?
Yeah. Use the restroom.
Okay.